All right. Oh, we are live. Hi, guys. Welcome to our conversation.
Hello.
Hello. So, today, the name of our group is Mujeres con Tumbao, which means in English, women of swag, grace, and intelligence. That's the way that we're looking at it. And we have a couple of topics that we're going to talk about today. So, we have Jay, African, not Dominican, of Focused Living, Carmen San Diego, and our girl Colleen from Love Across Borders. So welcome everyone. Looks like we just lost somebody. I gotta go and bring them back up. I'm not sure who we lost. Who did we lose? Oh
Carmen.
man. Yeah, Carmen San Diego. Okay.
Carmen.
Well, I will be able to bring her back up in a moment. Oh, there she is. All right, there we go. All right, so first and foremost, let's talk about why we're all qualified to have this conversation about the Dominican Republic and about our experiences with the Dominican culture. So I will start since obviously I'm already talking. I am qualified to talk about these conversations because I've been speaking Dominican dialect for the past 18 years. Have a whole lot of friends that are Dominican, and I'm married to a Dominican and have dated Dominicans for the past 18 years. I've lived here in the DR on and off for the past 3 years. And so that is why I'm qualified to talk about these subjects. I'm going to go over to Jay to hear the reason why you are qualified to have these conversations.
Well, I'm qualified because I've grew up around Dominicans. I have Dominican friends, and I've been traveling to the Dominican Republic for like 5 years. So yes, and I've had a couple of relationships with Dominicans. So yeah, I think I'm qualified.
That's the part I was looking for. I'm like, we know you dated.
Yes.
All right, next we're going to take it to Colleen. Why are you qualified to have this conversation?
Okay, I am currently married to a Dominican, and I have been here since 2018, and been back and forth, but I've been mostly here since 2018, and opened businesses here. I live here, and I'm married to a Dominican, so I think that qualifies.
Love it. Next up, we're going to go with Carmen San Diego. Why are you qualified to have this conversation today?
I am qualified to have this conversation because I have been living in the Dominican Republic for the past 3 years. And prior to that, I traveled back and forth since 2021. I've also have had romantic relationships with a Dominican person who was residing in the States and also here on the island. So I'm very familiar with Dominican culture. I was prior to arrival here in the Dominican Republic.
Love it. Yes. And I love that you mentioned that you dated not only natives, but also Dominican Americans, because that's important to mention as well, because there's definitely, for me, there's definitely a bit of a difference.
There is a difference, a huge difference.
Next up, we're going to go with African, not Dominican. Love the name. Tell us why you're qualified.
I'm not qualified at all. I just come to talk shit. No, but
I love
no,
it.
no. I am currently married to a Dominican. We've been married a little over 2 years. I lived in the Dominican Republic on and off for 2.5 years. I have one half Dominican son, and I am currently pregnant with my second Dominican child. I'm having a girl this time. So I have married these people, made children with them, lived in their country, ate their food. So yeah, I can go on and on about him.
Perfect. Yes, you are more than qualified. And then last but certainly not least, all the way from the UK, a focused living. Why are you qualified to have this conversation?
I actually came because I've always liked the Latin culture. I find them very attractive, as in the men and the women. I've been there once in 2023, and I've been involved with like another live stream where I've made good friends from other Dominican channels. And the reason why I wanted to chip in because a lot of people of color they're always scared to go to other countries because of the limiting beliefs. So I don't really feel like it's their skin color that's the problem. I think they just have a lot of the trauma from the past. So I wanted to let other people know that there's nothing wrong with how you are.
I love that. One thing I want to say is that your channel, A Focused Living, she has her own YouTube channel as well, and it's focused on, uplifting and empowering everybody, not just women, but um, so it's really nice to have someone here that's, you know, kind of does something similar to what it is that I did with my practice as a wellness advocate. But I know that our whole panel, we're all very much focused on self development and spirituality and bettering our lives every single day. So, yeah, love your channel, by the way. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. The first topic of discussion today, let me go back to it. I had queued it up and then I went to something else. It is the reality of dating Dominican men. Does anyone want to start?
You go ahead, Nikki.
Okay, I'll start. Earlier, Carmen Sandiego, she brought up the point that she's dated both Dominican American men and Dominicans that are from the island. So when we talk about the reality of dating a Dominican man, there's two totally different realities. When you're dating a man from the U.S. and dating a man here in the DR. For me, the difference is that a man living here who's never left the island is that more than likely, if unless of course he's part of I don't know the percentage, but I would give it like a 5%. Unless he's part of that 5% that makes great money and that does anything outside of just, I don't know, regular job, he's not making more than 500 a month, And so for me, I've dated Dominicans in the US as well that was not the case. So you're looking at a different culture financially. Like when you think about going out to eat, going out to do different things, it's not the same as going out with a Dominican man in the Dominican Republic and going out with a man in the US. When I dated Dominican American guys, we would go out, the tab would be, 100, 150 bucks. Dating a Dominican man here in the Dominican Republic, who's your, average guy who just goes to work, he's not a business owner, he's not any of that. That's not going to be the case. It's, you go to a local place and the tab is no higher than like 30 bucks USD. And even that is more than what it would typically be, in my opinion, and from my experience. All right, who wants to go next?
Well, Nikki, I'll just kind of chime in here and say that you're absolutely correct. When you are dating a Dominican guy that's already in the States, he has been working and he's been making really great money, more than what Dominicans make on the island. And so when you're dating, as far as the expectations regarding like paying for things it's not necessarily something that's a big issue as it would be if you were dating a Dominican person on the island with limited means. So that's one of the huge differences that I find. Also, their expectations of um, and their realities of just being in America and knowing the real story and not the lights and the glamour and the Hollywood story that's seen on the visual images for videos and celebrities. They're there and they know that that's not a true depiction of America. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. And Dominicans who have arrived to the States, to the mainland, and have experienced daily living, they understand that and they get that. And Dominicans on the island don't get that.
100%. I agree. Do you guys have anything to say about that?
I just want to say that my husband had never left the island prior to me bringing him here. And so I agree 100% that their expectations are completely unrealistic before they actually leave the island. Because they literally think money grows on trees, and it just doesn't. It doesn't happen like that. And so coming here was a big reality check for him. He did not expect to have to struggle so hard to find a job, even though he doesn't speak English. He thought he was going to come here and start making 50 grand a year off the bat. That hasn't happened. So yeah, they get a really big reality check if they ever leave the island and come to the United States, and they realize it's not what you see on TV. He was really surprised by the amount of poverty here because he thought everyone lived in mansions. I don't know. But he sees the truth. Like there's a hood here, there's ghettos here, there's violence here, there's poverty here, and he's seeing all that now, and he understands like everything I tried to tell him, because you can tell them all day long, they're not going to listen to you, they're not going to get it until they see it for themselves.
That is so correct. They absolutely will not. They'll think you're crazy when you try to tell them the reality and give them the real picture of what things are really like in the States. They don't believe you. And that's because that's not what they see on television. You know, movies and television is really big here in Dominican Republic. So they go by the images that they see being depicted on film. And they're not images of poverty, unfortunately, or images of hardship in any way. So because of that, they have a tainted sense or a tainted ideal of what America is, or what daily life is like there.
Yeah, and the thing is too, I think they maybe in their mind they feel like, oh, you're just trying to discourage me. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you what it really is, dude. Like, I want you to be successful. I want you to enjoy my country the same way that many other people have.
That's exactly how they feel, as if you're just trying to keep them from going to the States. I never understand that. Like, why would you want to keep someone from traveling if they wanted to? Like, they just don't get that when we tell these stories as Americans, we're really on their side and we really want them to see the true picture. I always refer to an older Dominican movie that was made. It's called Balbuena. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. Balbuena dreams of going to New York to be with his friends and making money, because all of the money is on the streets and falling from the trees in America. And he thinks he's really going to live this fancy life when he gets to America, and he finds out that it's not quite that way. And so I always refer that movie to any Dominican person that I hear that has stars in their eyes about going to America. It's a really good movie. You guys should take a look when you get a chance.
I can't wait to watch it. I knew nothing about it, so I'll be watching that tonight.
Balbuena.
Colleen, it looks like you wanted to say something.
Okay, my story is a little bit different because Ricardo, my husband, he has traveled to the States. He lived in Boston when he was younger. He is definitely a unicorn. He's not, I can't say I know all Dominican men, but based on the ones that I've met, I haven't dated other Dominican men, so I can't compare. But from stories that I've heard, he doesn't fit any of that. You know, he's very much aware of, the stage traveling because he traveled from young. He's not one of those Dominicans that I would say struggling financially. He's had a job since he graduated from high school. He just finished law school 2 years ago, so now he's an attorney. So I can't, I can't say he fit that typical Dominican man. Let's put it that way.
Colleen,
He's very. Can you hear me?
yes, can you turn your volume down just a little bit? Is it loud for you guys? Or is it just my computer? I just want to make sure.
There was some feedback there.
All right, maybe I need to take out the air and just do it naturally.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
is
Yeah. Hold on.
no. Maybe
Hold on.
maybe
The headphones.
maybe
Yeah,
just
I
not
know.
have
It's
it.
getting
Maybe
a
just
lot,
not have it as close to her mouth.
Yeah. 1 and 3, 2.
I would say it sounds good,
Hold
but
on.
not as close up as it was.
Where are you plugging?
Yeah, that sounds fine right there. Wherever it is, that sounds good. Go ahead.
So, like I was saying, he's not your, I would say, your typical or average. I don't know. But based on what I've heard from other people that, their experiences, uh, he might be one out of many, but he's very well rounded on, topics, issues, conversations. So I can't complain. English is perfect, no accent. I can't speak on that because I have happened to get one of three. So
And I can second that. I've been watching you guys for a while. I've noticed that the way that he speaks, so just culturally, how you guys are definitely not your typical. You know what I mean? He is absolutely a unicorn, and it I think it does give us some hope. You know what I mean? Us American women who still want to meet a Dominican that maybe we haven't met yet. Obviously not me because I'm married, but when I say we, I'm talking about American women. Like it is possible for it to happen, but the biggest thing is that in order for that to happen, oh my goodness, they're definitely, in my opinion, they're gonna have to go through a lot of different, kissing frogs. You know what I mean?
yes.
In order to get to that level.
So I'm asking for a friend. Where's the Unicorn Lounge?
Hold on just a second, because there's some feedback. I'm sorry. Colleen, you just go ahead and put your headphones how you have them, because I feel like there's more feedback with it not being that way than with it being that way.
And I'm gonna. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carmen.
I'm sorry, I was just making a joke. I said, so I'm asking for a friend. Where's the Unicorn Lounge?
Right. I definitely feel like it's that same situation where women in the US who want to find what do they call it? The high value man. There are specific places that you need to go to find these guys. The good thing is, I know you're located in Punta Cana.
Yes, I am in Punta Cana.
So you're already set up in a place where there's an expectation. I think that I would imagine that the Dominican men there kind of know, like, I can't just come and show up with my sexuality and that be enough to attract a woman here to be my man or my woman. Although I know that there are women that are with that. Like they're like, yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
here.
there's definitely that element here. It's all over the place. You see it mainly on the beaches. Yeah, or in the shopping malls.
Yeah. I,
So so there is quote unquote high value men of Dominican descent in the Dominican Republic, make good money, etc. But out of those men that exist, how many of them actually date out? I feel like most of those men stay with Dominican women. I don't feel like they date internationally as much, and I don't feel like they don't feel the need to because they have resources already. And I feel like a lot of the men that are Dominican born and date internationally is because they are looking for international resources. So out of the men that qualify financially, how many of them are actually checking for foreign women, do you think?
girl, you just said a word.
That's a really good question. It's She has an interesting point there. Um, I can see from both angles.
I agree. The well-to-do men do not date out because they don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. Right? That is
Like
so good.
I met someone I was there. Like, okay, so like my landlord had money. He had a Dominican wife. Um, Family members of my husband's, the ones that have money, have Dominican wives. The only ones that don't are the ones that don't have money. I don't see a whole lot of high earning men with foreign wives in that country. I just don't see it.
I have to second that. I don't see that either. I see a lot of times those men that are the quote unquote high value guys, they've had the same, you know, wife for years and years and years. He's created something and he already knows. And that's not to say that that's not the wife who he's cheating on. But that's a whole nother story. That we'll get to that. But yeah, no, it makes total sense though, because at the end of the day, we do know that a lot of times when extranjeros and extranjeras, foreigners from other countries, when they come here and they get married and they do the green card for their Dominican spouse, a lot of times when it doesn't work out and they're cheated on, they are cheated on with a Dominican. Like their Dominican spouse cheats on them with another Dominican. We see it all the time. It's classic. So I get what you're saying. Again, great point.
Which is why I just don't recommend trying. I like to be honest, 100% honest. I feel like there's no point. Like the 0.5% that exists, I just don't feel like it's worth trying to look for because you're going to get your heart broken. You're going to lose money. You're going to suffer too much trying to find it. I feel like if you have to have a Dominican, try to get one that was born and raised in the U.S. or another developed country. But going there to find one, I just feel like the odds are not on your side at all.
Oh, so true. The odds are not on their side. 100%. 100%.
I agree. It's quite challenging to find individuals who are sincere regarding relationships and monogamy, especially if you're a foreigner. It's even an issue with amongst Dominicans dating Dominicans. So
Yeah.
it's just an issue 360 degrees.
I have a question for the ladies that live there or that used to live there. Are you actually looking for a Dominican man? Because I know in my case, I'm not really looking for a Dominican man. I mean, if I end up with one, okay, but I mean, I don't mind. So, yeah, that's my question.
For myself, I'm not looking for a man at this moment. I'm not looking for anything. I'm just enjoying my life in paradise and having a great time being single and taking care of me. And I just believe that when God sends me a man, he could come from anywhere. Doesn't necessarily have to be a Dominican man because that's not like something that I'm pegging myself. I'm not pegging myself for a particular nationality. I just want when that moment does come for me, a really great guy, and nationality is not something that's going to take first seat. I'm not limiting myself to one nationality.
Same. I agree.
That makes me super happy to hear that, because I feel like for the longest time I was like the Dominican warrior. Like that was all that I ever wanted, and I was not going to accept anything other than Dominican. And some of you guys know this part of my story and some of you don't, but I was leaving last year from here, and it was like in what was it, the end of April? No. Yeah, end of April. And 3 days before I left, I realized, oh my God, I'm in love with my taxi cab driver. Like, what the heck? Like, what just happened here? And I was like, I have to have him. But he even knew that. He knew even before that. Like, I told him, like, bro, I'm done with Dominicans. And he was just like, I get it. I understand. Like, I know how these guys are, you know? And so I think it's great to leave options open, to just being open to a connection that makes sense. A connection that it's like, I always feel great when I'm with you. I always feel that we connect. I always feel that and more than anything else, I feel safe to be vulnerable with you. You know, can we talk about that? Like, as anyone being in a relationship with anyone, if they don't feel that they can be comfortable enough to be vulnerable with you, that's not anyone that you should date, and certainly it's not someone that you should marry. Let me read Rico's comment. Rico says, no, Nikki, you have some great voices and wisdom, and I am in a position of learning from you ladies respectfully. I need to hear you guys' perspectives. Rico, I'm going to say my piece, and I want you ladies to say your piece about Rico. My piece is that, Rico, we want to have you on our panel one of these days, because, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, let me just speak for myself. I love that you always keep it raw and real, and you are yourself. You're never ever trying to sugarcoat anything. You just are who you are. And I love that about you, and so many other people love that about you as well.
Yes, I agree. I have a lot of respect for Brother Rico. I've been watching his commentary on the Dominican route for quite some time, and I love the way he keeps it real, and he's not afraid to say the truth, and I think he's very authentic and very candid, and salute, Brother Rico. I hold you in high regard.
Anyone else?
And for the people that know, I am the female Rico when it comes to it.
Yes, you are.
I just said the same thing the other day about that. Didn't I tell you that, Nikki? I am the
You
female
did.
Rico.
You did, yes.
I am the feminine. I am the feminine Brother Rico. I am a Virgo, and I know that he is as well. With the moment I heard him speak with so much passion and fire, I knew he was a Virgo.
Virgos unite.
Thank you. Virgos unite. Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome.
Wait, what are y'all's birthdays?
I'm August 31st, and I believe Brother Rico is like August 28th or something like that. I do recall he celebrated a birthday just before I had a birthday. So I know that he's somewhere around that.
And you, Jay, when is your birthday?
September 12th.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, all you guys are still Virgos.
Yeah.
And it all makes sense to me now too, because you guys are like straight in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we are people. We are passionate people. We speak from the heart, and we just want others to be okay. We want for others what we want for ourselves, and we just cannot. We can't stand injustice, and we can't stand those who are just not coming from a good place, and who don't tell the real picture and give a 360-degree view of the truth and represent that. And so we are the truth tellers, and we are the peacekeepers as well. We try to be, but we will go to war when we have to.
Yes, when we are done, we
Yeah.
are done.
When we're done, we're done. When we're disrespected, when we feel disrespected, slighted in any way, or when we feel there's an injustice taking place, oh yeah, we're gonna speak on that.
Oh, when you guys say that when a Virgo's done, you're done. You guys
Yeah.
are done like 3,000%. Like oh my God, you're telling the absolute truth.
Brother Rico says he's August 25th. I knew it was something around that. Around that. I knew it was before my birthday. I recall his birthday, and before I knew his birthday, I said to myself, that man is a Virgo, and I know it. And then shortly after that, maybe 2 months later, I found out indeed he is a Virgo, due to the announcement of his birthday on the Dominican route. I said I knew he was a Virgo, because he doesn't hold back. He spares no expense when it comes to exposing the truth, and I like that.
Absolutely. Colleen looks like she wants to say something. Colleen.
So I am the listener. I will listen, and I kind of sit back in the background and I listen. I'm actually a Libra. So when you talk about when you say somebody's done, I will love you today and tomorrow will hate you with a passion.
What's your sign again?
I'm September 30th. I'm a Libra.
I'm
27.
I'm a scale. So sometimes I scare myself because I can love very, very well and I can hate equally. So, and hate is a strong word, but yes, I do use that word if that's the way I feel.
Well, I don't judge you for that at all. I'm a Leo, and us Leos, we're sensitive. And when we are done and when we are not dealing with you, it hurts because it gets cut, and we don't care at all after that because it's like you hurt me deeply and I'm done. So I get it. I totally get it.
When Carmen talked about caring for people and truth seeker, that's me. And I've even contacted you about a situation which we'll probably talk about today. But
we're definitely talking about that today.
I am so passionate about that and so invested because I hate to see people being taken advantage of. So
well, listen, we can get into it right now.
Sure.
And and let me just give this dissertation really quickly. First and foremost, what I'm going to say is that after what is said here and now, I'm not taking down videos. I'm not going to edit because no one governs me. And, when you're doing things that people have not only asked you out of respect not to do and you continue to do it for whatever reason, no, I don't respect that. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and talk about it. So I'll leave it over to you, Colleen. You guys, I got to run and use the restroom really quickly because I'm drinking Presidente. You guys already know that. I'll be right back. I'm going to leave it to Colleen and I'm going to hop in and just know that I am in agreement with Colleen and you guys will hear that.
So I have a friend who I met through the group and she's an undercover police officer. And she comes back and forth to the DR a lot. And she participates in this bachata dance group that they pay money and they go all around the country. And there's a certain YouTuber that she says she's African, Dominican, and that's her handle. And she's, been posting videos about her. And she asked her nicely to not post me. Don't post anything about me because it's my life, it's my job. And it's been like 2 months already. And just last night I was talking to her and as I got off the phone, here comes another video of her, and I didn't even send it to her because she's beside herself. She doesn't know what else to do. And this girl just absolutely refuses to take down these videos. And it's almost like a slow trickle. It's like, every week there's another one and another one and another one. And I just think that's so unfair that, you ask somebody nicely to not post my image. Okay, yes, we were all out together having fun, but it's like you're using me and my safety for clicks and views. So I had sent it to Nikki and I said, I think we just need to flag our channel because this is not right. And I have done it, and I'll say it out loud. I have. And I told her at this point, you need to get an attorney. Just get an attorney and see if you can get a cease and desist or something, because this is just not right. And this has been going on for the last 2 months.
Wow, I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, it's sad that this could happen, and we're supposed to be sisters. We're supposed to be sisters because we're supposed to be looking out for each other, right? And it's just
But what is her motive? What does she say when you ask her to take down the videos? What
she
does she
said it.
say?
She says that they were all out. It's public, so she'll think about it more or less. But she said it's public. They were all out together, so she doesn't really
Oh,
have to because
so
it's
she
public.
lacks critical thinking.
She lacks a lot of things. She lacks self-esteem as well, because I believe that she's using this woman's image to improve her views, and because I'm just keep it 100%. She's not that attractive, so she puts a woman on her channel that's more attractive than she is, to bring them in, to bring positivity, because people clown her. They clown her all day long because she looks thirsty. She looks thirsty as hell, chasing after Dominican men, putting them on a pedestal. So in order to improve her image, she puts someone on her channel that looks better than she does. So she can say, oh, look, we are out here chasing Dominican men or whatever. Like, no, girl, that's you. And you're trying to use me as a scapegoat. That's exactly what it is. That's how I see it.
And I agree with you.
Wow.
And not
Perhaps a
only
cease
that,
and desist order will take care of this issue here, because
yeah,
using her likeness and her image without permission, that definitely would be a reason to get legal counsel and move on move on those videos and everything else that has been displayed on the channel. That's what I'd say.
yeah, and there's multiple Instagram accounts. I think there's about 6 Instagram accounts, and she has
Yeah.
contacted Instagram, and they said they don't see any violations, so they're not gonna, take her channel down. But
Yeah.
it continues.
But I'm I'm baffled that someone, when you explain to someone the livelihood of another person being in jeopardy, and that person is just like, my likes and my views. I don't get it.
This has happened to you, Jay, as well. You had a
Mm-hmm.
video when someone was being rude to you and the person wouldn't take it down.
Yeah. Yep.
Guys, I heard a little bit as I was coming back from the restroom, and I think that eventually it's going to get taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
because the more that we're bringing attention to that situation, it's going to get taken care of. I still don't understand why it happened and why it continued to happen. When someone tells you, hey, I don't like that, and I actually asked you and told you prior to, and to continue with it, I don't get it. Um,
Oh, you get it. You get it.
what'd you say?
I said, oh, you get it. You know exactly. The thing is, she's not normal. Okay, like this isn't a normal, rational person. So as long as we acknowledge that first, everything makes sense. She's not a normal, rational people wouldn't do these things. She's not normal nor rational. So I mean, at the type of person is, you can just expect anything and not be surprised anymore. Because at first I was surprised. Now I'm just like, oh, she's up to her shit. Like who she is.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But then too, it's like, like you said, you watch some videos and as time goes on, you're like, oh yeah, that's not normal.
Mhm.
Yeah, I understand. Does anyone else want to say anything else about that before I read Rico's comment?
I was just gonna say that's why I don't take a lot of colorism, featureism videos seriously, because one point you're saying this, and then another point you're saying that. So it's just like confuse people. One minute you're saying Dominicans are racist, but then you're adding them more on the thumbnails. So it's just like pick one.
Yeah.
Right, pick one. Yeah,
That's
right.
not normal. Not normal.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And I feel like it's not for me to get because it's never going to make sense because it does not make sense. And I think that to me, when I've had interactions with her, it's been very performative. Do you guys understand when I say that? It's
Mhm.
very performative. It's always about the channel and views and this and this and that. My thing is, I understand that when people do like dramatic things for their channel and it works, but when you're doing things that are hurting other people intentionally, people that you've actually met in person, and you're still continuing to do it, knowing that it can literally affect their life and their job, like people want to hurt you when you do these things, dude. And if it happens, let's say somebody, because I don't want to jinx your friend, but let's just say something happened because of this that was detrimental to her life. Oh wow. We're not surprised when something detrimental happens to African Dominicans' life for doing these things. And I'm not wishing anything on anyone, but what I'm saying is there's an action for or a reaction for every action.
For every action, there's a similar and equal reaction.
That's what, thank you. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to read Rico's comment. I have a question for the panel. As a relationship for each of you with the Dominican, etc., would be outside the traditional roles. What are your limits, each person? Love that question. And he has another question after this. I'm a little nervous because y'all know Rico's crazy. So
I said let him ask away.
I think what I want to ask is I want to get some clarity on the question. Is Brother Rico asking what our limits are, like with our involvement with, Dominican men, like what we're willing to do and what we're not willing to do as far as traditional roles?
I think he is specifically talking about being the breadwinner. And my limit is I would not do it. So it's a hard pass for me.
That's the right answer.
definitely the right answer. I agree.
I would say if I was to do it, he can pay for his own stuff. I can pay for my own stuff. And then if he wants to treat me to small gifts, he can. Bill wise, it's split in half. So I won't be giving him money. And I guess dating wise, we'll just do what we can afford really. But we'll look at each other's finances. And if I earn more than him, I'll just tell him the things I'm willing to pay for, and then he can say the stuff he can. And I wouldn't go with someone that has children, especially if they're young. And I'll prefer if he had a car as well, some sort of vehicle just to take me around.
I love that. I know that if more people would follow that, so much less of the BS. Okay, so this is what Rico says, correct. Breadwinner, what's your red lines? I love that.
No, I'm already at the point of no return. I've already made all the mistakes. So I can tell you what I won't do again because I've already done all the things that I shouldn't have done. I've given money. I've tried to invest in his business ideas. I've tried. I mean, I've done not. His family never really asked me for money, but like there was emergencies that came up. Like I took money to the hospital for his sister once, because she needed money for a sonogram. But like, if I could go back, I wouldn't have given him a dime because after a certain amount of time, they start expecting it and they start getting a sense of entitlement. And so then when you start telling them no, they don't like it. So I feel like you're spoiling them and you're not helping them become men if you're babying them, mommying them, trying to um help him build. Like I don't believe in that anymore. At first I thought I was doing a noble thing by helping him out, by supporting him, by supporting his dreams and believing in him. No. I would never ever 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 do that again. I mean, I would go as far to say that I wouldn't even date someone or marry someone who makes more less than I do. I just would not do that again because these things are going to come up. Like splitting the bills and paying for dates. Like I feel like it's always going to be a struggle. And I feel like I feel like they become resentful of you and you can also become resentful of them because I feel like they kind of resent the fact that they can't be men and they can't provide. And so I kind of feel like um, they see your resources and there's a little bit of envy there. I can see it in my husband sometimes. He says he's not, but this, oh, you make good money, so you don't understand my struggles. Like, dude, I wasn't born making good money. Like, I worked my way up here, but I just feel like there's resentment on both ends because there's constantly an emergency you have to pay for. They're constantly asking money for something. They're behind on a bill or they need help paying off a debt. Like it just never stops. Once it starts, it just doesn't stop. So I would just say just don't do it. It just doesn't end well. And now my husband's in the United States, he's making dollars. It's a lot better. But if you plan on living in the Dominican Republic with a Dominican man that makes $400 a month, you're going to have lots of issues. That's my 2 cents.
She's absolutely correct. She's
I
absolutely
agree.
correct. The resentment is definitely there. I think we all start off thinking we're doing something noble and we are helping someone who has less means and has less opportunity. So I think our hearts kind of rip at that, and we we just want to help the man that we fell in love with. And I think as time rolls on, you eventually see that as a poor man, they're they feel like they're entitled, so when they get a little bit extra, it becomes even more, the entitlement becomes even more so. You can see the resentment there. A man's ego won't allow him to just be okay with the fact that he has to go to his woman and ask for things, and she has the power to say yes or no. So I think that really, really drives, a lot of resentment. I think that eventually things implode because of that resentment on both sides. And not many people have been able to survive their relationships because of it. I would agree with Key not to do it. It's not worth it. You will not find reciprocity. Let's just say that you will not find reciprocity. Everything will be one-sided, and more and more and more will be asked of you. And that resentment will come in very strong from the female perspective after she observes that there seems to be uh, not a very strong will for that man to eventually provide on his own 100%, when a lot of time is spent tranquilo and tranquilo and instead of working a second or third job to try to take that spot, that provider spot away from his woman and have a soft life for her. So I can go on and on about this situation, but I absolutely agree with her. It's not it's not something that you would want to sign up for.
Mm-mm.
It won't end
Okay,
well. It will
Yeah.
not end well.
I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to relate what you guys are saying to my experience as a woman growing up in the United States. In most of my relationships, and I'm going to tie it back to my profession, I'm a registered nurse. It's always been known the nurse with the purse, right? I feel, and I'm honestly going to say, most of the relationships that I've had, I've been the one that have done, and these are American men. I have been the majority breadwinner. And it got to the point where I did resent it after a while. And relating it back to the Dominican man I'm with, it's completely different. He takes care. I don't even know how to pay the light bill. I said to him the other day, something should happen. I don't know where to go. Where do I do? Where do I go? How do I pay? The Clara or whatever. He takes care of everything. So I feel that, like, again, I'm going to say he's a unicorn because even though he does make less than me, he manages to take care of a lot. Not like the men that I dated back in the States, who had more money than him, by the way. So I can't say it's it might be pretty close to generalizing for Dominican men, but I'm relating to my experience. That's not the experience that I've had.
You know, the thing is, it makes me happy when I was actually extremely excited when I met you on the Dominican route when we did that interview with you guys because I felt like I know the experience of majority of women who've dated Dominican men. Like I've known for years. So it made me so happy to see your story and it encouraged me because I'm like, at that time, my husband and I had only been married for what, 8 months, 10 months, 10 months, I think. And we're still newlyweds. So for me, it just gave me encouragement, like, okay, I have something to look forward to. And the bigger part of that is just knowing that, I mean, y'all know I married my best friend, man. But at the same time, I can say all of that and that ugly head can still rear itself. You understand? And that's one of the things that I've been trying to like not think about. Like he did this that I didn't like, so now I'm putting him in the same category as the rest of them. That's one of the things that I don't want to do because I don't want to ever feel like I made the wrong decision. But I will say that thus far, I'm still feeling good about my decision. And there are the cultural differences. There are those conversations. And to refer to Rico's question, how strongly do we each feel about what is it? Most important question, how strongly does each of you look to yourself and honestly ask the question, or honestly ask and answer the questions? I am not for or against. I want to know, did each of you do the hard work? Rico, I'm assuming that when you say hard work, you're saying like
In the women's side, like how
like
you,
stay with them and like go through hard times. Is that what are you guys thinking when you're saying that?
I was thinking maybe in the women's side, what's our part in the doing?
Yeah.
How do we end up here? Me, I say I was naive. I was very naive. I had never met a Dominican before. I didn't even know where the Dominican Republic was before I came or before I went there on vacation, and didn't know anything about Dominicans or Dominican culture. I barely spoke Spanish other than Spanish I learned in like middle school and high school. So I knew nothing about these people and their reputation. I quickly learned though, but um, if he is asking what our part is and all this, I believe I am not a victim for sure. I made decisions to at the time I thought were good decisions, but I look back and thought, man, I was stupid or man, I was naive, and I should have made different decisions. I should have moved differently for sure. But I mean, in hindsight, I guess it's always 2020. But yeah. And once I saw where it was going, and I saw that he was becoming entitled and all of that, but I kept doing what I was doing. I kept feeding his entitlement, and I blame myself for that. I think a big part of why I stayed, and I don't think I would have stayed if I didn't have a kid with him. Because you tell yourself as a woman, oh, you want to make it work with your child's father, and especially with him being my son, being my first son, and I wanted his father to be in his life, etc. So I feel like I put up with a lot more than I would have put up with otherwise. And then knowing that their resources are limited, it's easy to make excuses for them. You're like, well, they can't help they're from a poor country, or they can't help that the education system there is trash or whatever. So you make all these excuses for them. And so I recognize that I made a lot of excuses for him. And I take responsibility for my part in it, because I could have left at any time, and I didn't. And yeah, that's how I ended up here.
So one thing that Rico said that I really liked, that, where was it? Let me go back to it. Exactly, not playing victim. Thank you. And that was, of course, his response to you, African, not Dominican. That was his response to you. And, obviously I know you in real life, and that's one thing that I can say, that you've never played victim. And I really appreciate that, because it's just like, once you start playing victim, you're not going to do better. You're going to just keep letting it happen, and then looking for reasons as to, oh, poor me, it happened to me, And I just love your honesty. I love the fact that you admit, like, had I dealt with this, like, I know personally that had you had my experience over the past 18 years that I've had culturally with the Dominican population, you would not have done what you did, because you would have been well versed in Dominican SHIT. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You just would have been well versed in that. So
I have a story. You guys want to hear a story?
let's hear the story.
Yay.
Okay. So regarding doing the work, I think, well, thankfully mine, I was able to catch the things on time, and then I was able to cut things off, and it was like different things kept happening, and the entitlement, and I was like, who do you think you are? But anyways, I went to visit him in the DR, and he had an iPhone, I don't know, 12 or 11, whatever. And then he was complaining, my iPhone is not working, my iPhone is not working. I'm like, okay, why is that my problem? But so I was with my sister, and we went at a phone to buy a phone for somebody else as a birthday present. And my sister insisted, well, his phone is not working. Get him a phone. I'm like, no, she knows me. No, it's not my problem. He's a man. He should be able to figure that out.
Figure it out. Oh my God.
How did he do it before he met me? Anyways, so she kept going on. I was like, okay. So I bought him a cheap Samsung A150. I don't know. I bought him. I put it, in a nice gift bag, and I gave him. And I gave it to him as a gift, and I filmed it. So I filmed it. He opened it. He was like, oh, thank you. He looked at it. He was like, oh, but this is not an iPhone.
Oh, God.
And I was like, okay, gotcha. Give me back my shit. Because what are you talking about? The entitlement. So I should have got you an iPhone, I don't know, 13, 14, I don't know which iPhone was out. So
It's
you
the
don't want a
audacity.
Samsung? The Samsung is not up to par to your standards?
It's the audacity.
It's the audacity. So that was the last, how do you say?
The last
Straw.
straw.
The last straw. I was like, you got some nerve. Give me my Samsung.
I know that's right. I would have been the same way. Like, sir, you need a phone to
Right.
communicate. That's it. If you can't afford it, you don't give me you don't give me what is it called? Specifications that of what it has to be or needs to be. Are you out of your mind?
I didn't even want to buy it anyways. My sister insisted. So
And that's
Just gave
what
him a brick phone.
yeah,
Okay,
that's the
okay.
story.
Rico
So-
says, did you expect appreciation? And when you didn't get it, how did it make you feel?
I was annoyed and I was done. Yes, I did expect appreciation. And what's the word? He acted like, his standard is an iPhone.
That's most people's standard, the iPhone.
Yeah.
See,
That's
so you gotta understand, as women, a lot of times, well, let me not speak for all women, but myself in particular, we kind of expect people to act and react the way that we would. And so when we're doing these things for people, we're thinking like, oh, I would be appreciative if someone did that for me. So you expect the same thing from them, even though it's not the case 99% of the time, I've learned.
Right.
But you project the way you would act in those situations. If someone handed me a brand new phone and I didn't have to pay for it and I needed it, I would be appreciative. If someone handed me money to help me with all my life problems and I didn't have to work a day for that money, I would be appreciative. So you expect other people would be too. So then when they're not, it's like a slap in the face. Like, damn, I didn't have to give you shit. So,
Definitely. Rico, his lack of appreciation was the bigger problem.
Yeah.
So yeah.
and I think too, like you really have to do, I feel like sometimes like Jedi mind tricks with yourself dealing with these people. Um, because like I'm sorry, like African, not Dominican said, at the end of the day, she's looking at it like you should be appreciative for anything, no matter what it is that I do. Because if it were me, I have nothing and someone's giving me something. And then I think the bigger part to it is when you're living in lack, when you're in a situation where how great is it that someone is helping me in my situation? Who the F am I to ask for whatever else outside of that? The fact is, you're helping me in my situation. And the part that I feel like some of them don't understand is like, when I see that you're appreciating the small things, it certainly inspires me to do bigger and better things for you. Because I'm like, wow, they appreciated that. And not only do they follow that up with their words, but then their actions, and they're doing more around the house or doing whatever they can do that they can do. I understand that there are people who are in situations that they literally can't do anything, but the ones that actually can do something and show that they're doing the most that they can, that's to me what's important. Like, wow, you don't have money, but you're cleaning the house, you're cooking every night, like you're doing something to try and pull your weight. That's great. But the ones who don't even do that, I will never in my life. Obviously, you guys know I'm married now, but if I were single, oh my God, it would be totally different. But let me read this comment really quickly. If he can't even get himself a decent phone, how's he supposed to provide for anyone? Breaking news. They've got credit options in the DR too.
Exactly.
She's right. She's absolutely right. If they can't get it for themselves. Oh my God, you guys, in the chat the other day, what did we say? Who was it? African, not Dominican. You said it. You said a broke man will break you. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
no. What was it? Say it, because I don't remember exactly.
I don't know. It said a man without money will take all of yours. A man without peace will take your peace. Like all of the things that they're lacking, they're going to steal from you and leave you dry and empty. That's what I've learned.
Whoop, there it is. Okay, Rico says, so again, the question is, what works are we doing when interacting or dating those who are far economically less, and this happens in non-romantic situations?
I will never date someone in that predicament again.
Same.
Once and done.
See, and I just want to say that Rico's a man, and I feel like men are naturally providers. And so I feel like it may not be as big of an issue in a male female relationship when the female's Dominican. But I feel like as women, we are the ones that should be provided for. We are supposed to be in a more feminine space. And I feel like when you're in relationships with these men, we're stripped of our femininity because we have to provide. I feel like I'm the provider, the protector, everything. And I'm like, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be a man. I don't want to be the man of the house. I want to be a woman. I want to be able to behave like a woman. I want to live a soft life. I don't want to be the man. And I feel like as a woman, you're not going to have that with a Dominican from the Dominican Republic that makes $400 or $500 a month. It's just not going to happen. And I just feel like you're unequally yoked. I feel like it's not natural, it's not balanced, and you're gonna suffer because it's just not how the world works. And I feel like as a woman, just don't do it. Don't do it. Take it from me, don't do it.
I agree.
Right.
I
And
agree.
they are definitely taking advantage because if it was a Dominican woman, they would provide what they can. But why? Because it's me? Oh, now you've forgotten how to provide your, I don't know, $200? No, provide that too. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Quickly, Rico says, I can't tell you how many ungrateful Dominican friends I have given money to with barely a effing thank you.
That's because you got it, Rico. We got it. They like it ain't nothing for you.
I didn't know Rico was giving money.
He's probably tipping it.
Those are the worst ones. Those will say, well, actually, this is not enough. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I was working my butt off for you. You are my boss.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then Rico also says, or better question, if you have to assume the provider role, male, how in the hell is the macho acceptable?
Not.
There's no macho around here. We don't play that. He tried it though. He did try it. And I will say that he was more successful over in the Dominican Republic because it was his country. It was more his rules. He had more control of what's happening. Now, no. We don't play that. And because I'm the breadwinner, I'm still the breadwinner. Even though we're in the United States, he does make more money now. Just because I'm more established here, I make more money. Still, we don't really have the gender roles. I'm what 18 weeks pregnant now, and I had a really kind of a rough first trimester. So he really did step up and cook and clean because he knew that I didn't feel well. We don't do the macho stuff around here. He tried it and didn't work out well for him. I'll leave it at that.
There it is. Colleen, you look like you want to say something.
My son, one day, he came over and Ricardo called, and I said to Ricardo's at work. I'm not working. I don't work. And I said to him, what are we having for dinner? And my son looked at me and said, wait a minute, you're home. You mean what are you cooking for dinner? I said, mind your business, because that's not how it works here. So it doesn't work that way. So,
I know
you
that's
know,
right.
and he's an American man, and he lives in DR, and he will not date in DR. He says absolutely not. He's not going to be anybody's baby daddy, and he's not giving anybody money. So when they call and said, "Do you want to see me?" He says, "Yeah, you can come over, but make sure you have a way home." So
Oh, no, that's right.
so as far as the roles, you know, like I said, Rico is just one of a kind because he comes home and cooks for me. I am definitely living the soft life here, and I know everybody talk about the soft life because I sent that Instagram post, right? But I know I'm living the soft life. It's not our relationship is not normal. Ricardo enjoys cooking for me. He he cleans. We do the laundry. He does the laundry, and I hang the clothes up. That's my contribution, right? But other than that. He's not your traditional Dominican man, and no macho stuff. So I feel bad when I hear all this about Dominican men because I know it's true. I know it's true. I've heard all that stories, right? I feel bad that I have never been involved in that kind of situation here, and I'm not. I made up my mind when I was here to be alone, and I was alone. I came back after selling everything I owned, went back to Florida, and then we started dating, long distance, and he convinced me to come back because I had left and said, never will I go back to that country. And it wasn't because of relationship, it was because of just the way things that happened to me. I mean, even something as far as I ended up in the hospital with COVID, and I have insurance. And when I was getting discharged, they said to me, "Oh, you have to pay $500." And I was like, "Why?" But we're gonna give it to you. It's just we're just gonna hold it until you come out of the hospital. And but the thing is, I felt they were trying to see if I was gonna leave the country because I'm not a Dominican. So I made it my duty to come back. I came back and I went there every single day until they gave me back my money, right? Because I knew that was a trick, right? So things that happened to me over the years that I had been here, it was just enough is enough. As they say, I got gringoed so many times. I've lost so much money here. And I did not ever want to come back. So for me now, my life, I truly can say I'm happy. I feel that I'm blessed. And maybe it's just my time to get some back of what I've given to the country and the people here. Um, so I know there's a lot of women that are coming here now because my YouTube channel, I'm getting a lot of women reaching out to me. And because I just tell the truth, if you're coming here looking for love, I don't think this is the right country because it's a cultural thing here. It definitely is a cultural thing. And some of the horror stories I've heard, even from men, because I was in some of those passport bro groups before I left. And they go through a lot here too with the women. So I think the women are just as bad. They're just as bad. But like one of you guys said, they take care of the woman. And one thing Ricardo did tell me in Dominican culture, the man is supposed to take care of the woman. That's their culture. So why should it be any different if you're a foreign woman as opposed to a Dominican woman? If you
Exactly.
So
have
I
no
just I didn't get a chance to answer Rico's question earlier regarding dating someone of lower means. I will not, and I agree with you, Colleen, 100%. Looking for love here is something that one should not come to DR for. You should come to enjoy the country and the beauty of the country and everything that it has to offer. But as far as wishing for love, some big romance to happen here, you should not get your expectations caught on that. Don't set your heights on finding the one here. It could happen if it happens, and you're blessed. But I would not make that a priority.
And I want to add this, like, if I were a woman watching this and I know that, you know, it's going to be my first time visiting the country and I'm a single woman, and then it also depends on like how you're coming here single. Are you coming here as someone who is desperate for love? Or are you coming here as someone who is happy in her singlehood? You know, like specifically Carmelita, You would be the one coming here happy in her singlehood. You would be the one coming here like who loves her time alone. You know,
Absolutely. I came here because I fell in love with the beauty of the country. I love nature. I love the water, the beach, the trees. And I just fell in love with the peace that I found here. I didn't come here in search of love, and I'm not looking for love. I'm looking for peace. I wanted the exact opposite of what my experience was in the States. And I just wanted to step away from the hustle bustle. And I just fell in love with Dominican Republic, not because of a man, but because of everything the country had to offer as far as the the aspect of peace. And so I thrive here in my life very happily, and I don't set my goal for a man or a relationship. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking to have peace in this country,
Mm.
and that's pretty much it.
And a
and that's
man will
Nikki,
rob you of your peace there. A man will 100% rob you of your peace. I tell Nikki all the time, I joke with her, like, if we just would have linked up and became roommates down there, we'd be living the dream. Like, just no, man. Like, I wish I would have gone that route instead. Although I didn't really have a reason to go down there, I went down there because of him. But shoot, if I could do it all over again, if I knew then what I know now, I would have definitely just got a female roommate. We would have been falling out of control, not spending money on Dominican ish, and just living a great life down there.
yep. And then Faye, what did you want to say, honey bun?
I said if I was to meet someone special there, I would I would like to find someone with a good mindset and action, and then someone that works hard, shows up, and he's generous. Because even if he earns less, he just finds a way to share or just take care of me with like the small things he can. And if he's very solution based, so let's say he had like a YouTube channel and he's actually working towards it, or he's an Uber driver as well. So I would prefer if he had multiple side hustles and he's shown the receipts as well. Because there are some million men, some guys that are millionaires that are selfish. We've heard about those ones. So sometimes it's not always going for those like millionaire guys. I think it's just someone that's generous with you.
Absolutely. I would agree
I think
100%.
someone that knows his role as a man, and what a man is in the dynamic of a relationship, and that's provider, maintainer, and protector of his woman.
You know, and here's the deal for me, you know, I could understand a woman coming here who's making more than her Dominican boyfriend, husband, fiance, whatever. I can understand him picking up more of the female, quote unquote, culturally responsibility because he knows that his money is not enough to take care of her. So it's like it logically, his thought should be, let me pick up where normally I wouldn't, but you know what? I should because I'm being taken care of. All that stress about, oh, ay Dios mío, ¿cómo voy a pagar los biles? Ay, yo no puedo. All of that is done with. They don't have to, he doesn't have to worry about, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay these bills? He doesn't have to worry about that with her. So when that happens, to me, the logical idea would be then pick up her female household duties until you are in a situation financially to be the provider. Like, make it make sense. To me, it's just unfair for a man to think that, oh, I'm a man and you're a woman. You're making 5, 6, 7,000 a month. I'm making $400 a month, and I need for you to come when you're in the house, cook and clean and take out the trash and do all this crap. And I'm gonna just come home and not do anything. It's craziness because of gender roles. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And that goes back to us thinking they should think how we would move if we were them. We would say, "Oh, let me take the slack off of them since they're the breadwinners, and let me fill in the gaps." But it don't always go like that. They don't have our logical way of thinking.
It's true. It's like we're so wired different from men because if I was to like build someone, I wouldn't have resentment towards them. I'll be more like, oh, I just want us to level up together. Like even with us lot, remember Nikki and Jay, I always said I want us to be successful together. If I knew all the resources, I'll share it to you guys. But I don't get it with guys. They don't appreciate it. It's like they'll build up and then they'll go for the woman they actually want. I still don't understand that. I would love a guy to share why that happens. It's just really sad.
I can
Well,
give you some insight as to why that happens. It's because they're embarrassed to, they know, and you know exactly what you've done for them and how much you've given them, and so it to stay in that relationship where both parties know and there's a bit of shame and embarrassment, they can't take it and they have to take flight and find another woman that doesn't know that they need, the excess of things that they need, and because he arrives in that other woman's life with the things that you've given him, and so she doesn't know that he was in a situation where he had poverty or he had a lack of resources, because he has taken those things that you've given him and moved on to a new relationship, so he's not in such of um, a bad situation. And so it's the embarrassment, it's the shame of knowing that your woman knows that you had nothing and she gave you everything, staying in
Right.
that dynamic or in that relationship, even though that woman may be very loving. He
Right.
just can't handle the shame and can't handle, things from a male ego perspective, and also shame. And so he takes flight to go somewhere where, his ego is intact and the woman doesn't know that he's in need. He's a man in need. And I think that's the reason.
Yes, he can go and impress another woman.
Mm. Mm.
Yes. And never has to reveal that he ever lacked.
Right.
Ah.
oh, that's so crazy. You
Yeah.
guys, is it okay with you if I bring up our boy Rico?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Bring brother Rico,
We love
please.
some Rico.
We
We
love him.
do.
Everybody loves
Oh
brother
He
Rico.
makes
no.
us laugh.
It's only limited to 6 people. God dang it.
Oh
Is
my
it
And
really?
goodness.
Nikki, if he's rude, you kick him
You
out.
know what? I can drop out. I can drop out. I think his perspective, from that male perspective, we got to get in here.
Well, listen, we're gonna do this one time, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the full package because no, your perspective is very important, just as important as all of ours are. Yeah.
Definitely.
So we're gonna bring you back up in a bit. I'm just gonna
Okay.
put you. You're just gonna be in the back, but I'm
Okay.
gonna bring you back up.
All right. I'll hang tight.
Thank you for being a trooper,
You're welcome.
Rico.
Hello, hello. Can you ladies hear me?
Yep.
Yes, come up
Okay,
on the screen.
okay. Please tell your guests in the backstage don't go anywhere. I'm only going to be here for a minute, and I only wanted to come up because I had a question, and my old thumbs is getting tired of typing. So, so I was like, and I didn't know you had the limits, Nikki. I apologize for that. And let me
Well,
just first say, you ladies need to do this more often. This was a great freaking panel. And I think the space needs it. If you can't do it every week, you should do it at least every 2 weeks. You should do it as much as, the time availability of each panelist. Because I think it was, I mean, I'm sitting here. That's why I'm asking questions. I'm learning. I'm listening and I'm learning. And I think it's needed, a panel of women. So that's why I really don't even want to be up here long, because I think that the voices of you ladies, and from a women's perspective in the travel space, definitely needs a platform like this. So I want to first say that thank you. You ran a great conversation. You're continuing to run it. But the only real question I really wanted to ask in particular, because I was listening and learning, and I hope none of my questions didn't come off as, I don't know, not mean spirited or anything like that, but they were genuinely inquisitive questions, and I tried to write them out as articulate as I could. So, and I think most of you guys have answered it the way that I was asking. But the one question I want to ask in particular, we talked about like the gender roles and so on and so forth. So I can even set all that aside, because I look at it when I think about the DR, or my wife's from El Salvador, or any other country. And I always ask myself, why do we go to these spaces and then all of a sudden assume we should assimilate to their cultural norms? So I know even in El Salvador, the DR, Japan, I was like, there's a lot of cultural things they do that I will never agree with, ever. And my question is I always ask people, like, how do you say it respectfully? I'm not trying to look down on them, but I think that like most of the places we come from, we think that our cultural norms are a little bit higher, if not very high, much higher. Why are we not trying to pull? So when I look at education, like public school education, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not going to argue with nobody about their public school education compared to ours in the States. That is just a no brainer. But people will fight me on it. And I'm like, why are you saying that that's good enough when I'm literally telling you it's not? And I'm not telling you because I'm the authority. It's just evidence based and proven. So even when we look at, we talked about like the family thing. I'm like, in America, if I meet a chick, no matter what country she's from, I'm marrying you. I ain't marrying your whole fucking family. I'm not, why do we, I feel like culture down rather than help them culture up? If anybody, the same way we can see it clearly around the money. Because if you go to the DR, you say, okay, he's not making enough money. I wish he could make the same money. So you want to bring him up financially, but then we'll culture down. And I'm just confused. And I see it among men rampant. I'm like, why y'all going over there assuming like all this shit is okay? It's not okay.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hop in and say
Okay.
this about that. I think that specifically with the last question that you asked, why is it that the men do that? I think for them, the thought is they have this fantasy idea that because they're with this exotic woman, they can just throw their ideals and their things out of the window because they're like, but she's exotic. So, hey, all that stuff about what I would or wouldn't do with an American woman or give an American woman, no. I don't care about none of that. I got me an exotic now. Oh my God. I'm going to do what I got to do to keep this exotic. It's like that weird, wishful kind of a thing. I feel like, and it's like, oh, okay.
But and you're hitting my point exactly, Nikki. But is that not weird? So my again, and I just want to to elaborate a little bit more. It's like your values are supposed. I'm just thinking for each of us up here, aren't our values supposed to be us?
Yeah.
Me is Rico, you is Nikki, Colleen, Faye. All of us, we're supposed to have. And I've always thought they were uncompromising. Now, yes, I can compromise within reason,
Right.
but I'm not, I see people they just throw everything as you described, like to hell with everything that I believed in. I'm like, this is just crazy to me. And it's not, and again, like I only ask you ladies because I want you, it is a genuine question to you ladies, but I know the men do the same thing and I can't stand it on either side because I'm not giving up nothing when I go
Yeah.
to the DR. I will be a black man living in the DR. I ain't changing shit. Sorry.
Listen, let me pause you for just 1 second. That reminds me of a story that I just like an argument I had with my husband like 3 weeks ago. So we went to leave to go to the grocery store. And before we left, I didn't eat because we were like lacking food. So I wasn't going to just like scrounge some bullshit together like, bread and dip it in coffee. I don't like that. That's not my thing. So when we got to the grocery store, he was mad at me because I hadn't eaten. And he says to me, why didn't you eat anything? We have food in the house. I said, we have food, but it's not anything that I wanted to eat. And he's like, who cares if you wanted to eat it? You should have just eaten it. And then I definitely responded with an asshole, response, which was because I don't have to. I don't
Which
have
that
to. I
which
don't
that
have to
makes
eat what I
right,
don't want to eat. I'm
right.
gonna eat what I want to eat because I can do that.
Which that makes sense to me because that's what I'm exactly what I'm saying is that if you wouldn't take that shit off of me in the US, why you won't take it off of him in the DR? Why? I'm confused. I'm genuinely confused as
What?
to why people go to. I'm like, I'm not accepting that there. I mean,
What?
the law I may have to accept, but outside the law, I'm going to be the same person. That's just because then you come off as inauthentic, you come off as phony, you come off as fake, and then that's why people question the sincerity of the. I do it with the guys all the time. I say, look at him. He just. The past one, you just a fucking whoremonger, whatever. You just threw everything out the window. It's they don't maintain any sense of integrity. And I see it more among you ladies, but then sometimes I see where the women too will go over there and I say that's the same behavior I see in the men who throw all their self-respect and integrity out. And I don't want to see the sisters do it. I'm like, no, maintain your self-respect and your integrity and your dignity no matter where you are. Just don't sacrifice that for nobody.
I feel like women do it everywhere, though. I don't feel like it's specific to women that go to the DR because I feel like women in general will let men get away with shit just to say that they have a man. And I just feel
Mm,
like
yeah.
when you go down to the GR, I think maybe the behavior that you're accepting may be different. But I feel like women accept unacceptable behavior in general. That's just how women are wired. And then women are taught from an early age that, they want to grow up and have a husband and a family and all these things. So women will put up with anything just to say that they accomplished those things. So
Okay,
I
so
feel like
mhm.
I just don't feel like that mindset, that behavior is just specific to women that go down there to the DR.
So do you say that? Let me ask you just a question because I'm glad you point that because I could be wrong. So do you think? And I'm just curious that because if we talk about economics, right?
Hmm.
I, we know y'all ain't well, mostly, generally, and that kind of go back to the question I asked Colleen a little bit. It's like, okay, if you told me you're accepting a man of lesser financial support in the States and then you did the same thing in the DR, I could say, okay, it's the same thing. But most sisters will be like, oh, the motherfucker can't pay the rent. I ain't fucking with him. And I agree with that. But then you go to the DR and then you accept that. That's where
Yeah, yeah.
my question comes in. If in fact you're telling me, okay, the same position that you're in the DR, that you got a track record of doing the same thing in the States, then hey, I fall back. Okay.
No, see, I think that's where you're misunderstanding me. I think that the types of behaviors that women will accept will depend on their surroundings, the men that they come in contact with. But I think that women have a pattern of accepting unacceptable behavior. Like a woman will
Okay.
accept a man cheating on her just to say that she has a man. So I just think that the behavior that women are willing to accept changes depending on their environment. So you won't accept men making less because in the United States, men don't have an excuse to not make more than $500. So why would you accept it? But and when you go to the DR, because I feel like women are good at making excuses for men.
Okay.
Because I see women on the internet talking about, well, men cheat because that's just the way men are wired, or men are not born to be monogamous, and this and that. So we will make an excuse for a man no matter the situation. But I just think that the behaviors that we're excusing is just different in the DR. But I feel like the core behavior is the same. We excuse men no matter what the behavior is and no matter what country we're in. I just like that's just how we're wired.
Okay. So
Well, let
I
me
don't.
just
Go ahead.
very small what I want to say. American wise, and specifically Black American wise, I always take it back to the song by Betty White. Betty White, right? I'm sorry, Betty Wright, where she says, a piece of a man is better than no man. Do you guys know that song where she
She
says
the
that?
cleanup woman.
No, 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 not
She
that
sang
one.
the cleanup woman.
Well, she did, but there's a song that she says, it's like, what is it? Mr. Charlie is just a man, and he's doing the best that he can. on that song. That's where she talks about at the
Yeah.
very end of it. She says, "Girl, because a piece of a man is
Hmm.
better than no man."
Okay.
That to me is where that type of thought came from back in those days, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna teach my daughter that. Girl, just be happy you have a piece of a man. Where now we're saying, no, 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 no. We don't have to accept just a piece of a man. But there are women who are still living that lifestyle of accepting a piece of a man and not holding him accountable for the BS.
I just wanted to ask was, and I'm sure after somebody can jump in. So you okay? If the cheating, taking the cheating aspect into it,
Mhm.
I don't think American women or European women widely accept cheating. I could be wrong because I'm not a woman. I don't think they widely accept that. So if you
Wait, wait,
don't,
wait.
mhm.
You said you don't think that European women
Well, I'm
accept
just
it?
saying I don't think they
Oh,
widely accept it.
no,
I,
no.
mhm.
I would totally disagree. I think they
Okay,
accept it way more than any other, how do you call it?
I think American women
Demographic.
accept it, and I think especially in the black community is acceptable.
you
Because
think it's widely accepted?
No,
yes, because how many
I don't
men,
think so.
how
I
no.
mean,
many
I could be
men
wrong. Let me shut up. Let me learn.
Let me
How
just
many
say
men
this.
in especially lower class communities have several baby mamas? The babies are all months apart from each other. Like I feel like it is accepted.
Okay,
Um,
I feel like women will attack another woman for a man's cheating before they attack the men. Because I
yep.
see women fighting over men all the damn time, and the man sitting there chilling, just
okay,
watching the show.
okay. But see, now you're making it more about class, which I would agree with. Lower socioeconomic class of people do tolerate just more fuckery. We just know that. They just do. We just if you're poor white, poor black, poor Hispanic, you just tolerate because it's part of the toxicity of the environment that we you live in. And I would understand that. I just didn't think American women as a whole, unless you're in that lower percentile, are accepting of it because they talk about the high rate of divorce and breakups and so many people are single and blah 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 blah. So that's why.
You don't think
Mhm.
men of means can also get away with cheating? Because I feel
No,
like
I think they cheat more. I just don't
exactly, and
think.
I feel like
Yeah.
that women will accept it. If a man is paying all your bills and you living nice and you live in a nice house, you don't have to work. I feel like those women are willing to put up with it too. I feel like could women and upper class women put up with it for different reasons, but I feel like
Okay.
women across the board are putting up with men cheating because I mean, look, if you look at like celebrities per se, like you see like basketball players, they're knocking up everything that walks, and I'm just like the women they stay put. But I get it. If they're providing a certain lifestyle for you, I get it. But I feel like it happens throughout
At the end of the
multiple classes
day,
of
Remember
people.
Rico?
100%, because at the end of the day, if I'm providing for you, you as a woman, you think I'm going to accept you cheating on me with your
No,
broke ass? Absolutely not. That's crazy. But like you said, it depends on their situation. Like these women who don't have other means, it's like, well, well, how else am I going to pay my things? I gotta deal with this. It's all right, and
Right.
especially when it's a man who has millions of dollars. Like, yes, because just like Cardi B said on the song, and we've talked about this before, um, Cardi B has said a broke end don't deserve no head.
Right.
I agree. Like what
But yeah,
you're
because by that logic, all of you ladies should be able to cheat.
absolutely.
exactly.
I should
Should
be
be
able
able
to.
to. I'm just saying. But
I should be
you're the
able to. I
breadwinner,
don't.
right?
See, but
I'm just
because
saying.
I feel like
Because it
women
doesn't do for
suffer
us what
different
it does for
consequences for
men.
cheating.
I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying by that logic, you guys are in the position to be able to do it, and he's supposed to just shut the fuck up and tolerate it and accept it.
You would see, but the thing about it is the reason why we don't. I feel like I should be able to, but the reason why we don't is because even as a woman, there's still different consequences as a woman. Like we can get
Yes.
pregnant. I mean, men more easily transmit STDs to women than the other way around. So I mean,
Mhm.
like, there's more consequences to cheating as a woman. I feel like it ain't worth the risk.
But we ain't talking about consequences. We're talking about, again, like I said, I just want to go back to my original question. My original question is that if your value set, this is what I think I'm hearing, and it's just weird to me. How does your value set of what you will tolerate withstand your standard in place A? So in other words, for example, I think Colleen, you brought up like the passport bros, right? They will sit there and demonize black women in America. I don't want no weaves. I don't want no baby mamas. And they go to the DR and what in the fuck are they with? I'm sorry. Nothing
Weave
but
the baby
weaves and baby
mamas.
mamas.
Exactly.
So I'm literally trying. So I'm like, man, you gonna have to explain that to me. How all of a
Exactly.
sudden, what ain't good there is all of a sudden completely acceptable here. It defies
Amen.
logic.
Rico,
Amen.
you know what it is? It's the attraction with the Dominican community and just their body because they take care of themselves over there.
You
So I think,
fetishize.
yes, the
Because they
Yeah.
speak Spanish. So what?
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
when someone looks good, they'll do anything for them because that's something I've observed. When I was there, I was like, I can see why people are falling for this. It's the attraction. They take care of themselves.
But
What
Rico,
I
as a man, the
Yes.
men that you see with Dominican women, how many of them are really pulling nines and tens though? Most of them
Very
are
few
pulling
of them.
exactly. They're getting
Very
average
few of them.
looking women.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
for
getting
So,
certain
they're
country, yeah.
getting the beer guts. They're getting the busted BBLs. They're getting and I don't care what they look like. I'm like I'm sorry. And again, I'm not demonizing Dominicans as a whole. Basically, what I literally tell passport bros all the time, they're like, Rico, you can't say they all whores. And I say, you know what? You're right. They're not all whores, but all the ones you fuck with are. It's just some stroke of luck that only passport bros attract whores because literally 100% of what you guys date because and it's true because that's what they're actually attracted to that lifestyle. They don't you can't accidentally just I'm gonna be here for a week and every woman I run into is a whore. I'm like you're looking for that. It's
Absolutely.
as much of an aesthetic as it is a these women. I'm sorry, but ladies of the night don't just look away; they behave away.
Absolutely.
They talk away. They move away, and you're same way back in the states. They're in love with strippers. You just can't afford them.
exactly.
You just can't afford them. But most guys would wife up strippers,
Rico,
but they can't afford them.
Rico, do you think regards why men want the strippers because they feel like us women maybe we're not given that satisfaction because we're so busy letting ourselves go. We're just cooking and cleaning, but we're not doing the sexual stuff. Because
I
I feel
don't
like
think
that's
it's
why a lot of them are
I,
going there.
for the most part. I mean, men use that as an excuse that
Okay.
women. Now I'll be honest with you.
Because I would like to improve as a woman if there's things that we're lacking to.
First and foremost, will I sit there and say that yes, a lot of women and in particular black women let themselves go? Absolutely, yes. But
Yeah.
that's not the reason, is what I'm saying. That is not the overall reason. The overall reason is the ease of access. The most of them don't even really. I think in the moment, a lot of guys who do get in serious relationships with pros, it's very short lived because once they get into it, it's a living hell. It is hell on earth. I mean, very few. Most pimps can't stand prostitutes, and they're in business with them. These, and in all seriousness, um, because I believe in the dignity and the humanity of everybody. I believe sex workers work. I really do believe that. But most of these women they are
Rico,
traumatized.
let me jump in for a minute.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you guys a story. In my days back in the days, I still she's still my good friend. She worked as a house mom for a strip club, and she said to me, "Can you fill in for me one night?" That night turned into a month. So I would work in the day as a nurse, and at night I'm in the strip club in the back room with the strippers. And let me tell you, that was an eye opener. A lot of those girls who do that, they are gay. They hate men. They just look at men as a tool to get what they want. And these
Yep.
men are such idiots. They will take their credit cards. I've seen it with myself. $20,000. Send it to them through Cash App, and they just laugh. They have fun. They have a great time with the guys.
That's so true. Oh,
That is true, Colleen. Thank you for sharing that. That is so true.
I know
And
about the house mother life. I know
and I
exactly.
would say this too, because and I tell them the biggest thing is because I see them for what they are. I'm like, and they are a person. They do have humanity, but they do the work that they do. And I realize that most of them are broken. They've been through a lot of trauma, and absent years of therapy, it won't heal. So I always tell the guys like you can't have a relationship. I'm like, you want to go straight into and say, oh, okay, I'm gonna buy her a nail salon and I'm gonna marry her. I'm like, but you're not getting her any fucking therapy. That's what she needs. Is therapy. If you really truly love that person or care about them, get them some help. But most of them need fucking therapy and they
Man,
don't get it.
man.
Most of them need
Listen.
it. So it's broken people trying to fix broken people. I'm a fucking car wreck trying to fix a wrecked car. Yeah, good luck.
So
Yeah.
true.
That's
They
the
it's
problem.
it's
So
never anyone getting to the root.
right.
Like you literally just
Yeah.
said it. No one ever wants to get to
No.
let's really know each other. Let's
Yeah.
get to the root of who you are and who I am. What is it that we have in common? Why is it that we love each other? Why is it that
But
we are
that's
going
work. It's work, and then they have to bring their ass back to reality.
Yes.
Like,
And I'm sorry, I didn't fully answer your question, but I did want to say so when guys go about, oh, she's beautiful and these women are not, you have to, again, it goes back to that therapy issue. Is that I would ask a guy, why is that the most relevant issue to you? How that woman looks. So if I'm looking at Colleen, if you don't mind me, I just use you as an example, right? Like, why is I mean, I think you're beautiful sister, so I just want to say that. But why is it the most relevant issue to me if she's someone that I'm supposed to love is how she appears? Why isn't it more relevant to me how she presents in character rather than in looks?
Because
Because
beauty
most men
attracts
are
first.
visible.
That's why.
Right.
Most
But
men are
so
visible.
yes,
They're
but
visual.
even but that's the root of the problem we got to get to is while we are all of us are visual, men and women alike. Every human being is visual. What the first thing we see is what we see. But why is that the most important? So you have to ask yourself that. Because when you were born into this world, it wasn't the most important thing. It's not that, oh, I looked at my mother, she was beautiful. No, she fucking fed me. She nourished me. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to ask yourself, why is that? And I'm not saying that it doesn't matter. But all of a sudden, if like, okay, I can see her visually, but wait a minute, how did you lose sight of her character? How did you lose sight of the woman behind the visual? Where all of a sudden now that's the only thing you see? That's it?
and here's the thing. Here's the thing. These are the same
That
women
that's therapy. You need therapy.
who,
Go ahead, Nick.
who they have children with. And then
Yes.
you're mad because you don't like how she's raising the child.
Hmm.
Sir, you didn't even sit and have a conversation about her style of raising children. Like,
Hmm.
oh my God.
Or
My
their
husband
mothers,
or
or
their
their
mother
sisters.
or their
It's like, come
father.
on.
Let me tell you, my husband and I, we have conversations all the time about how we're raising my stepdaughters and his biological daughters. We argue about certain things. And for
Yeah.
me, I'm just like, there's certain things that I'm like, our child, we're not doing that with them, and we have to talk about that because I'm not just going to agree with everything. We do have a comment from mommy Joe, 23, going overseas to pay to sleep with prostitutes is the epitome of loser behavior.
Hey, real quick,
100%.
Nikki, you
No,
still
I
got
think
your
announcing it is loser behavior. You shouldn't be sharing it on social media that you're going there to sleep with women abroad. I feel like just keep it to yourself or do it in a Discord or something.
Mhm. Hey, Nikki, you still
Yes,
got your guest backstage?
I do.
Okay, let me drop because I wouldn't even be up here this long. I apologize. I thank you, ladies, for your time and your wisdom. So let me go so you can bring her back up. I'll listen a little bit more in the back. I got a live to jump on at 6. But thank you, ladies. I appreciate the
Well, wait a minute.
conversation.
Before you go,
Uh huh.
Rico, we're having you back, and we are doing this once a month. And it's so funny that you came on, and the first thing that you said was what we actually have planned, is to do this once a month. So,
Cool.
yeah, we're gonna have a segment of we'll call it something like Rico keeps it real or something like that. Absolutely. Rico, we all love you so much. Stop apologizing. Just cut it out.
Okay, I love you guys back. Bring your guests back up. I'll sit here and listen for about another 20, 30 minutes, and then I'll have to disappear to get ready for something else. But again, you guys got to keep this going. This is really needed.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Dope. Girls, what do you want to say to Rico?
Love you, Rico.
Okay. Bye. I'll see you guys next month.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
next month. Oh man. Oh my God. I'm so glad that Rico hopped on. Oh my God. He's such a breath of fresh air. And I know that some people can't stomach him. But one thing I can say about this group, us 6 ladies, all of us love his commentary because it's honest. And we majority of the time agree with exactly what he's saying.
He comes from a really logical perspective. He's not emotional about it. Like he comes when he makes a point, he backs up with actual facts and data. So it's just like you can't review anything he's saying because he's making sense. I just can't stand having conversations with people that don't make sense, and he makes tons of sense. So you bring him back anytime.
I just wanted to say that the reason people can't stomach Brother Rico is because he is the voice of truth and reason, and most people want to live this life in a fantasy world, and that is where any and everything goes. They don't want to be checked with facts. They don't want to be checked with reason and logic. And so when one does that, and presents that as eloquently as he does, it's like medicine. It's like medicine to a poisoned person. Their body's going to fight it, try to fight it and stay sick, but just keep giving that dose of medicine as he does with his injections of truth. And people can't handle that. They want to stay sick. So that is why people cannot stomach Brother Rico. People don't like the truth.
Is 100% the truth, what you said. And it makes me think about when the pandemic happened. There were so many people who had to sit with themselves. And 50% of the people who had to do that, they couldn't stomach who they are. The other 50% were like, oh my God. Oh my God. Well, hello, nice to meet you. I was that other 50% that was like, girl, where have you been all of my life? Like when I say I love you, I love you. Holy shit. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Are you guys here?
Yeah.
Myself.
What did you say?
Know what? When you sit with yourself, a lot of people can't sit in silence for more than 5 minutes because you start really listening to your own thoughts. So in the pandemic, a lot of people I have the flu. A lot of people had time to sit with themselves, and some people didn't like what they saw. They couldn't deal with it.
That was me in the beginning for sure. I was just like, oh my God, this is why I haven't had a long-term relationship. I am not happy with me. I don't even know who I am. What is this about? And as time went on, I started to learn the things that I didn't like about myself, the things that I loved about myself, the things that other people judged about me, that they felt whatever way. And then I started to just accept, like, this is who you are. and this is great. There, if there's something wrong with who you are, if you feel that way about yourself, there's work that needs to be done because you're never ever going to be anyone else. So there were things that I definitely had to work through and understand, well, why don't I like this or that or the other? And then also, well, what are the things that I love about me, like about me, am okay about me? What are these things? And, some of you guys know that's when I wrote the book, Trust Your Dopeness. And that's when I started learning to, corny enough to say, trust my dopeness. Like, that's how the whole book came about. So, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to take it to, oh my God, we've already passed our 2 hours. I have the list here of, what we're talking about today. I think we made it halfway through the list. Do you guys want to continue the list, or do you guys have to get going, or how are you guys feeling for like another 30 minutes or something like that?
No, Rico.
I could do another 30.
It's getting good. So we can do another 30. I'm going to run to the restroom and I'm going to start I'm drinking beer, you guys. It runs
No.
through you. You know that.
So, Nikki, I'm going to jump off because I'm still recovering from the flu. And I'm
Oh
in
my
Santa
goodness, right? I
I'm in
understand.
Santa visiting a friend, so I'm at her in her Airbnb right now. So I got to go check into mine. So it was a pleasure, and I hope to see you guys again next month with some more
You'll
content.
be seeing us next month.
Yes.
Absolutely. You're part of the panel and a huge part at that. So thank you so much for showing up today.
Feel
And
better.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good evening,
Okay.
y'all.
you
Bye
too.
bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. The next topic, and then one of you guys just hop on it. So I'm going to run to the restroom and be right back. That topic is dating nightmares. Someone can grab this, and I'll be right back. And then, of course, I'll have my own commentary. So have at it.
I mean, that's like the whole experience, isn't it? For me, anyway. I dating nightmares. Well, for one thing, I'll say I feel like Dominican culture is trash,
Oh my
and
God.
so it is. And I just feel like trying to date one in of itself is a nightmare.
Can you explain that further? What do you mean precisely?
Yeah. So infidelity is a big thing. It's really common for Dominican men to have several families all over the country with multiple women. They have a very laid back culture where they don't really take things seriously. It's kind of like party 5 days a week, work 2 days a week, kind of a thing. Because there's a big difference in education, and so I feel like just explaining basic life things to them to me is like pulling teeth. Like I had to explain simple things to my husband, like what is an interest rate? Like he never even heard of that before. So I just feel like it's almost like raising a child, just because of the lack of education, the lack of structure, and I just I just think that their culture is trash. So like I kind of compare it to like inner city black culture in the USA, where it's like very ghetto and very just what's the word I'm looking for? It's just uncouth. And I see a lot of the same behaviors. Like you see twerking and all that in the United States. I see that in the DR. The getting drunk all the time, like and the half naked women and just all of that. I just feel like the two cultures collide, and I don't like either from either place. I don't like black ghetto culture, and I don't like Dominican culture. I just feel like the two mirror each other.
Don't let Dominicans hear you. They will go crazy.
Oh,
They
I
get
know it.
very, very butthurt um
Listen, the truth is the truth.
their
Because
thing.
I saw a comment the other day where a guy said, a Dominican guy said on Instagram that Dominicans don't like Black Americans because our behavior is that. And I'm like, have you not seen Dominican behavior? It's very, very similar. Very similar. And you see a lot of Black rap influences in the Dominican Republic.
I
Like
always say
the way that
French.
yeah, the way that they dress, they want to wear the big gold chains and the smoking of the weed, and it's just I see a lot of similarities, and I don't like it. And so I just feel like the nightmare there is for me personally trying to blend in with that culture because there's just a lot that it's just ingrained in them that like, you they say you can take a person out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of a person. And I feel like you can't take the Dominican out of a person. Like a lot of the cultural things that they have ingrained in them, it's just you're gonna have to learn to either deal with it or just not deal with them.
I agree 100%. It's just like the fact that they don't see the like similarities is because they don't want to see the similarities.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody wants. You guys remember? Some of you guys may or may not remember this, but on the Dave Chappelle show, the Dave Chappelle show, where he said everybody wants to be an N, but nobody wants to be an N, meaning everybody want to be black, but nobody want to be black. It's the same thing, like the appropriation and the whole thing, and then but oh no, but we're not that. Oh, but we're not ignorant. We're not this. We're not that. And it's like, yo, stop. But you are though. Oh, guys, we have someone in the back. Is it okay if I bring him up? This is my brother Fox. I didn't see you back there, Fox. He's the gentleman who's married to a Dominican woman. So is it okay with the whole panel if I bring him up?
Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. You can take me down.
No, I don't have to take you down. We have the perfect six.
Oh yeah,
No, come back. Wait, who left? Somebody left.
Faye left. Faye.
The whole thing. But oh no, but we're not that. Oh, but we're not ignorant. We're not this. We're not put something on pause. I think it's oh yeah, it's us. that's playing in the background.
Hello, ladies.
Hey.
Hello.
Nikki, I have a suggestion.
Yes.
I heard everything you guys said, and I was wondering, why do we focus on the bad aspect of dating? What about the good guys, the good people? We need to focus more on them because there's a lot of them out there. We need to find them.
No, we don't. I don't believe in wasting time focusing on the needle in the haystack when the haystack is clearly outnumbering them. That's my.
Here's the thing. I feel like you guys have heard Rico and Coach John, argue, right? And Rico is always telling John, like, oh, you always talking about the good shit. You don't ever want to talk about the bad stuff. Da 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 da. So I feel like Fox, you saying what you're saying, you sound like John, and then African, not Dominican, is more like Rico saying what she's saying, and I get it because at the end of the day, what we're seeing a lot more on YouTube is like, yeah, come to the Dominican, get you a wife. It's the best thing ever. Meanwhile, we're like, let's talk about the bullshit. Like, there's so much going on that people are not aware of. And, we're sick and tired of people talking about only the good stuff and not mentioning, like, this is what can really happen. This is how you can lose your money. This is how you're not being, like, protecting yourself. Like, those things. I get what you're saying because I know you in person. You're a really very positive person.
Yeah, and like the the statement I made, bottom line, you need to know what you're getting into before you get into it. I mean, it's some bad people out there. And I also put a statement out, you need to learn to separate your heart from your mind. Your mind can tell you one thing, your heart can tell you another, and your mind can betray you. So you got to trust in yourself, know what path you're on. If your partner is not on the same path as you, then you got to let them go. A lot of things are very simple, but we have a problem with letting things go.
Absolutely.
Even if it hurts, sometimes it gotta hurt. It's best to get rid of it first and real quick before it progresses and goes on and on and on. And then it changes to something else. You got to nip it in the bud right then. There's so many people in this world, and that's what I'm saying. It's the more we dwell on that, the bad people, the good people are not being seen at all. And I know there's a lot of good ones out there. But yeah, we tend to get caught up in some bad ones. And then a lot of them, like I think one of the ladies said, a lot of them, they can't really help themselves. So is it their fault? Is it our fault for getting involved with them? It's more of our fault.
I mean, hey, there's no doubt about it. We're like, and again, to piggyback off of what African, not Dominican said, she mentioned that, she took full accountability for, hey, I accepted this BS in the beginning and I knew no better. And the thing is, I know that had she seen my story from the year before and other stories, she wouldn't have gone through that. I know her personally, and she takes precaution with everything that she does. You know what I'm saying? So I know that had she known better, she definitely would have done better. This was her first Dominican. And it's funny because when she and I met, she was like, girl, I know good and damn well you ain't been doing this for 18 years. And I was like, girl, yeah. She was like, ooh, that's your bad. And guess what? She was right. Listen, I definitely am not a victim because I knew better, bro. Knew way better. All right. So that's all I want to say about that. I just want to say this before you guys get to sparring. When I say I love both of you guys, I mean that in like real life, not like, oh, I love you guys. People say, oh, I love you. And it's like not for real. I know y'all in real life, both y'all separately. I love both y'all. So respectfully, have your debate and go.
I mean, I just feel like, I don't feel like we're being negative, but we're being realistic. And I feel like Dominicans have a reputation and they have it for a reason. Like, stereotypes do come from somewhere. And the whole stanky panky stereotype comes from somewhere. And me living down there, I saw it more than I saw the so-called good things. Just like I would tell a Dominican that wants to go to the States, I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh yeah, everybody's living good. We're all rich. Money's just growing on trees. Like, no, I'm going to tell you the real. Like, it's rough in the U.S. There's racial biases in the U.S. Especially with the current climate that we're in. I mean, Latinos are getting deported left and right. So I'm just saying, you might want to be careful. So, I mean, I'm going to tell you the real no matter what side you're on. If you're Dominican, I'm going to tell you the real about the United States. If you're American, I'm going to tell you the real about the Dominican Republic. Like, it's not all roses. And I feel like there's plenty of channels online painting Dominicans as these godly, perfect people. The women are all submissive. And I lived on there. I'm thinking, like, where's all these submissive women I've been hearing about online? Because I don't see them. Like, I feel like maybe the older ones are that come from a different generation. But if you're wanting a 20-year-old, I don't think you're going to get a submissive 20-year-old. And if they are, it's because they're playing the game.
No. And once they're saying that, are they saying it being truthfully, or are they just trying to get their views?
That part.
A lot of them, like you said, you're there, so you know the truth. A lot of them probably, just like myself, I haven't been there that long, so I can't really be concrete in saying a lot of stuff as being truth. So I'm just going by my experience, and I know what to stay away from. I know some of the signs, so I try to stay away from those. And then join people with like-minded, with like-minded minds, and I kind of cultivate toward them. So, but yeah, you got to be aware, and it is ugly over there, no doubt. It is. But what can you do? Whether you're going to stay and try to make it better, or you got to leave.
I will say this. Go ahead, Keith.
I was gonna say, I feel like Dominican Republic is a beautiful place, and if you're gonna go, stay all day long. Just don't fall in love. Fall in love with the island. Fall in love with the beaches. Fall in love with the trees. Just don't fall in love
Yeah.
with the people.
I want to just kind of add on to Fox. I feel like Fox, he kind of is like Colleen in this situation, or Jazz, I think was the name that she used on the live today. I think that he kind of does have one of those, unicorns, which is like a one-off kind of situation. Not I don't want to say totally one-off, because I feel like the men definitely have better opportunities when they're dating the women, as far as like them being like good people that not I don't believe in good people or bad people, but someone who's actually gonna do what they're saying that they're gonna do. Like, I know his wife personally, and I know that when he's there, he is treated like a king. There's not all this arguing and bickering and acting crazy. And at the same time, he did what I think more other men who want to stay married to their Dominican wife should do, is marry someone closer to your age. That's exactly what
you got to. And like Nikki, I know my partner, and I'm not gonna call his name, but you know who I'm talking about. And he tried to make a 20-year-old think like 40-year-old with responsibilities. I'm like, how? And he gets mad at her, and I'm like, she can't. She's not going to think that way. She haven't lived through a whole lot of experiences, and she's Dominican. So, and you American, so her mind is not like yours. So whether you choose to accept her for how she is, or you have to let that go. But unfortunately, now a baby is involved.
Exactly. Right. And our buddy, what is he, 56, 52? I don't know.
Probably 52, something like that.
52 with a 2-year-old.
You got to be realistic. Yeah.
So anyway, I agree. You got to be realistic. Like, just cut it out. Just cut it out. Like, I feel like there's so many, men that come from other countries that come here, and there's cognitive dissonance. 100%. 100%. And the cognitive dissonance is the issue, because you're living one way that is totally different from what it is that you're trying to tell other people that you're living, and even trying to tell yourself. Like, that's not what's happening here, dude. It's just not. Be honest.
But I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to get on a spiritual level, but if you have God with you, God will protect you. You got to, it's many signs people will give you. They give off many signs. You have to know how to read those signs, and you got to curve a lot of things. I mean, you got to lead with your mind. Let your heart find another heart with love. But if your mind, if it's something that you unsure of, you got a question mark by it, sometimes you just got to leave it alone. You cannot go through that. You got to protect yourself. You are your own team. If your partner is with you, he'll get in line, or she'll get in line. If not, how much time you have to waste? I'm almost 50. I don't have that much time.
Yeah.
So any sign that my wife start going off, if I see anything that's funny and fishy, I'll talk to her about it. And if it persists, we're gonna have to, My life is worth a lot to me. I'm not gonna let nobody take me down. Period.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. You know,
Life is way shorter than life is too short.
yeah, and you know, like I said, I know you in real life, so um, I know that you live your life intentionally, and that's something that I feel like when people come to this country, sometimes they're not living intentionally. They're living for the moment. They're living for a desire, and then they're disappointed when the outcome is not happiness and peace and all of these things. And at the end of the day, no one will ever have peace with someone that they can't fully communicate with. You know, and you guys know I speak Spanish. Like, you know, if we're gonna put a percentage, let's just use 90% fluent, right? There's that 10% of those weird words that I'm like, I don't know what that means, that kind of thing. And it's still difficult sometimes for me to communicate with my husband. And I will say, I think it's more of a cultural thing when it gets to be like that, more so than our actual words. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Go
and,
ahead.
and you're gonna bump heads. When you bump heads, see, can you resolve those? If it's unresolvable, you know, you got to make a decision. I mean, it might be some tough decisions, but it's a learning process, especially American going to Dominican. You're not going to get everything all at once. It's step by step, day by day, week by week, month by month, and so on. But how is your partner? How is he keeping up? And yes, we are the. I think one of the ladies said we almost like parents. And I told you, Nikki, we're kind of like parents. But you got to still give them their respect as a grown individual. But you got to kind of like see them as your I hate to say it this way, but your child. You do, but not in the sense that they're you know way below us. But you have to lead the way. You are the leader. You can't let them lead. Period. At all.
And I feel like that's easier for men to come to terms with than women, because women, we want our men to lead. Like, naturally, we want to be married to a leader. We don't want to be. I don't want to be your mom. I don't want to have to lead you. As a man, I want you to lead. So it's frustrating being in a relationship with a Dominican man as an American woman, because I expect my husband to be in that leadership position, and it just doesn't work that way when you marry someone from the island. It doesn't.
That brings up a business idea, Nikki.
Oh, what's
Tell me
that?
about it.
So we get some American men that have some classes for Dominican men, how to, especially if they're going to date an American woman, or a woman in general, how, you know, different steps that we've learned. It's about teaching. Start some classes, how to cater to your American wife.
I love it. I'll say, Carmen,
Solutions.
Diego, you know, we've already talked about this a little bit. That would be a part of what he just said. Did you catch that?
Who are you talking about, Nikki?
Carmen San Diego.
I am so sorry. I had to step away. My dog was in the background chiming away. Can you repeat your statement, the last statement, please?
Yeah, I was saying that it sounds that I talked to Nikki about a lot of business ideas, and I'm the type of person I like to come up with conclusions or solutions. So I was suggesting, you know, maybe come up with a class or a course that we could give or offer some Dominican men how to cater to your American wife. If you want to deal with an American woman, these are some of the things, you know, that we've learned over the years that works. This is what they like. This is what they don't like, because a lot of things is a crash course for them, and a lot of them just going to give up and like, man, I can't do this, and then just walk away, and it's not going to work. It's a waste of time.
That's an excellent idea. There are many blended relationships here that could benefit from having a resource like that. I agree.
Yeah.
And when he said, I'm just going to give up and walk away, that reminded me of a story that we've spoken about, you and I personally.
Yeah, I definitely have seen many individuals just give up and walk out. They had great intentions from the start. Many expats that are, that have fallen in love with Dominican gentlemen or Dominican women, and out of frustration due to the lack of understanding or the clashing of worlds regarding cultural differences, people just can't get past that. It becomes so great, and eventually the relationships do implode. And it's something that starts out so innocent, and there's love. Everyone is thinking about love and romance, and then when you start interacting on a daily basis, or if you're living with the person that you are with, and you have the daily responsibilities of life, of eventually the shortcomings regarding education and just daily life, and dealing with life and how things are handled, American versus Dominican way, those things start to clash and become a problem. The differences.
So
Yeah.
y'all go ahead and start the Dominican charm school, Dominican men charm school for American women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, what's funny about that is that Carmen Sandiego and I were talking about a business idea, and that would go with a part of that. It wouldn't be like the whole thing of it. We'll talk behind the scenes, African, not Dominican, about that specifically, and Fox, we'll talk about that behind the scenes, just to let you know. And oh my goodness, hold on just a second, you guys. I think there might be someone else that we can bring up here. Hold on.
Nikki, I have a quick question. As
Yeah.
a British person, I've noticed there's a lot of Latinos in the States. Comparing to the UK, there's not that many. There's like small communities in London, specifically Elephant and Castle in London. But why is it people go and look for Latinos abroad when there's loads in the States?
Ooh. Go ahead, African, not Dominican. I think I know what you're gonna say.
Me? Oh, yeah, because Dominicans in the States, they don't need you. And they still come with the same expectations as an American, natural born American. So I mean, like, you can't go to a Dominican in the States and offer her, I'm gonna pay her $200 a month in rent or whatever. Like, they come with higher expectations, just like we do. So you gotta go where you can fit in, and they fit in where the women are only wanting $400 a month, and they're good. So I mean, they can't afford the Dominicans or the Latinos in the United States. That's why they go to the island where they can afford them.
And that's the lifestyle. Even without the relationship, I I like for my money to stretch when I went over to the Dominican Republic. Versus me paying $350 for a 3 bedroom versus 1,800. It only makes sense to me, and I love the islands. So the same way with, if the people there are used to, if I could work here in the United States and maintain a household for $800 to $1,000, I take that all day.
Okay, because I would have probably like dated a Dominican in the States, and then we would have gone to the DR together.
They might not want to go back.
True.
No. Let me tell you something. In my opinion, I agree with her 100%. If you're able to date a Dominican in the States, not able, like, oh my God, oh, nobody can do it. No, not like that. But like, if you're dating someone in the US, again, side story, you guys know I I've dated several Dominican Americans, one of which was a high value man. And I really shouldn't even do it like this because really and truly he is still to this day. He's a high value man. He makes over $200,000 a year, right? Dominican 100%, born in the DR, moved to the US at 16. So great grasp on both languages, both cultures, all of that. However, there is definitely a huge difference between dating him and then dating a man who's born and raised here who's never left this country. Like, Faye has the right idea. She's absolutely right. Like, if you can do it that way, do it that way. I did it for years. It didn't work out because I feel like it was that clash of both, of like, I'm Dominican, I can do whatever I want. And on top of it, I make my own money. I don't need you for money, lady. You see?
If that was the goal.
Yeah, no, which is good because that lets me know, like, if we're together and it's working out, it's not because I'm taking care of you. It's because it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
You understand? So me dating a Dominican here and being like, it doesn't work out is for one of a couple of reasons. And for me in the past, it definitely was the money situation because I'm like, I'm not taking care of your family. You're my boyfriend, sir. You're not my husband. And you haven't done enough for me to feel like you're someone that I'm in love with, that I want to marry and like sacrifice my salary for. Like, no, that's crazy.
And it's also the company that they keep, the ones that's in America, because you have a lot of people speaking in a lot of people's ears, a lot of people talking, a lot of people don't know what, what they're saying. It's the information that they're receiving. Who's that person affiliated with in the United States? You gotta know. You have to know you got to know the background.
Absolutely.
Know it before you get into it. Lead with your mind and not your heart.
Well, I definitely know that if more people would do that, that would change a lot of things. And really, that's how it should be.
Yeah, I never had any intention on being with a Dominican. And so I never thought to even seek a Dominican in the United States because, like I said, I didn't even know where the country was. I didn't even know what a Dominican was because there's not like hardly any in Michigan. So I grew attached to this one person and I just happened to meet him in the Dominican Republic. Now, had I known more about them in general, I would have avoided it 100%. But I did grow attached to this one particular person and I didn't fall in love with him because he's Dominican. He just happens to be Dominican. But yeah, I wouldn't have thought to seek a Dominican anywhere in the States or on the island.
And what's funny is that I remembered when I very first met her, and I know I must have been saying things like that sounded like I was just holding Dominicans on this like super high pedestal, like they're just the best thing in the world. And I know that I had to have been speaking that way and thinking that way because until you made the comment that you made to me, did I even realize that I held them on this thing. You had said something like, I don't know why you're acting like they're just like the best thing ever in life. Like, do you remember that conversation?
I don't know. Probably. I know I've said it. I don't know that specific conversation, but I know I've said it multiple times. Like, I don't see what's so great about them in general. I feel like most people worldwide are average looking. And I think once you live in the actual middle of the island, you see mostly average looking people. Now, the ones you're going to see plastered over Instagram or on TV or even on the beaches, those are going to be your best looking ones. Of course, every nation is going to advertise their best looking people. It just makes sense for them. So once you actually get up in here and you see the people on a day-to-day basis, you realize they're just like everyone else. Hell, half the people there look like my neighbors and shit. Like when I lived I grew up in a predominantly black area. I'm like, they look like us. And I was surprised that there's a bunch of mixed race Dominicans, but I was surprised at the amount of Dominicans that look to me just black. And so that's not the Dominicans that are advertised. It's always the mixed lighter skinned ones that are advertised. So living there, I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of them walking around here looking like me. And the crazy thing is, even Dominicans didn't know I wasn't Dominican. They assumed I was Dominican. So that just proves the fact that there's a lot of them walking around looking like me because they thought I was one of them. So, I mean, like, there's just this idea and this fantasy that's put out into the world. Like, there's gorgeous people in the Dominican Republic, but I don't think it's even the majority of them. I think the majority of people in general worldwide are average looking, including them.
Do you think, because I know scientifically they do say mixed race people are seen as attractive? I'm not saying that, I'm just saying like that's what they say scientifically. Because even saying with Brazil, or what other countries, Cape Verde, all those countries, I think everyone just sees them as desirable because they have different features of black, white, and native or other places.
But I think that you can get that in the United States. There's a lot of race mixing. I mean, I personally have 3 daughters that are biracial. So I mean, I've made biracial people. There's plenty of biracial people right in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't. What's special about a mixed Dominican versus a mixed American? I don't see it. I don't get it.
Sexuality and like even for the men, how their game is, because a lot of them are very validating when it comes to seeing a woman. They'll go me and more and all that stuff. And because a lot of people aren't used to that validation, it's like, oh, I'm not used to this.
Yeah, and so I feel like that only is, I guess, special to people that aren't exposed to it every day. Because like my husband, I think that when he speaks Spanish and certain things he say, I do think it's sexy. But the funny thing is, when I speak English, he thinks it's sexy. Like when I speak really fast in English, he just likes the way that I sound when I speak my native language and I speak it fast. And I say certain things in English, he likes to hear me say it. So I think it's because he's not used to hearing English every day. He gets turned on by my English. So I feel like people that aren't used to Spanish speakers and hearing them speak every day, they think it's the sexiest thing ever. So I mean, I don't know. I just feel like people, opposites attract. People are attracted to what's different, what's exotic. Like I do get that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like outside of it, once you be around these people enough and you're engaged with them on a daily basis, the fantasy starts to fade and the reality starts to kick in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Fox?
Now I'm saying it's really up to your own preference, what you like. I mean, if that's what you like, then that's what you choose, and that's what you invest your time in. It's beautiful people all over the world. So happened that I chose Dominican Republic due to a lot of resources I have there. Had I chose Costa Rica, it would have been a whole nother scenario, or Panama or Brazil, you know. But I try to stay positive. I look into positive people, and I have so much knowledge in America. I know hustles. Hustles are universal. That's why I trust all my teachings. Everything I've learned in America, I apply there. You cannot come and try to swindle me or try to trick me out of anything, because I can feel it. I feel energy, and that's another thing. I pick up on energy. I hear your words, but let me see your actions, what you do, and then if you have children, how's your children being raised? I rely on all of my weapons of knowledge to, that's why I got married to Mercedes. I felt safe. Yeah, I didn't go for beauty. I didn't go for the younger version and all the, no, what fits me, that she fits me in my journey. Will she help me with my journey? And can I help her in hers? And from there, that's what I chose.
And I mean, I'll tell you, from day one when I saw you guys' photos and videos together, it made sense to me. For me, it didn't feel like it's off or what is that about? You know what I mean? It just, and even me meeting her um, and talking to her and then talking to you, like, I totally get what you're saying. The energy was there, it made sense. And I have other buddies that are American guys who are married to Dominican women that are their age or closer to their age. And it's just kind of like they're not, you can see and feel that they're not on some thirsty stuff. Like they're ready to settle down, they want to take care of their husband. They're not looking for, looking to try to take advantage. It's not that type of energy, you know? And I think now there's just, it's more of the ones that are trying to take advantage, more so than people like you and my buddy Carl, who's got a beautiful wife that to me gives me the same energy, like genuinely and generally attracted to their husbands and vice versa. And it's not like these are some young, you know, model Dominican women that it's like, what are you doing? She's like
It,
22. It's
it
not
comes
that.
down to choices. Yeah, if I met a woman that she's 45 and she's trying to dress like she's 23, I'm not going to open that door. Why start that when it's already starting off wrong? If I go to a car lot and they try to start the car up and the car's not starting, why would I buy that car? I'm not going to do it. I got to protect me first.
Absolutely. Well, guys, it is 5:50 p.m. in the US and in the DR. And I know that a focused living, oh my gosh, it's like what, 11:50 there or 12:50 or 1:50.
What's the
I know
country?
it's late there. She's in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want you guys to say your last parting words, and then I'll take each one of you down after you say what you have to say. And yeah. So who wants to start? I'll put you up, you'll go, and then we'll put everyone else down.
I'll go first.
Who said that? Carmen?
Yes, me. My last words. I just want to thank everyone for being a part of the podcast here today, and it's been a great experience getting to hear all perspectives. I also want to encourage those who are looking to move to Dominican Republic to come and fall in love with the beauty of the country. Don't put your focus on finding romance or love or sex. Just focus on, having peace, tranquility, take in the sights and sounds, the culture, but putting a high priority on getting romantically involved with someone should not be the goal. That should be something that happens naturally if it does happen for you. And that's all I have to say. Have a great night, everyone.
Oh my goodness, you
Good night.
too. Before you go, look, Heavenly pulled up. Heavenly, oh my gosh. You gotta come through the next time. Heavenly says, old Crusty Rico, to answer your question about being the breadwinner. My line is don't spread or send. Wait, hold on. Don't spend or send my money I give you to the family and friends in the R. Oh my goodness, Heavenly. Thank you so much for showing up today. Um, Great last words. Absolutely
Thank you.
excited about the week that or the month that's coming up because we're going to do it again. And Heavenly said, and I didn't know you had a live today. Heavenly, no worries. Subscribe to my channel today, and you'll get all of the alerts to know that I'm live. We have so many women that a lot of us are coming from the Dominican route, and that's how we all know each other. And now we're talking about the female perspective. So you're gonna love this channel. Just yeah, we appreciate you being here. Super excited to see you. All right, Carmen San Diego, we're gonna take you down.
Good night. Good night,
Good
everyone.
night, beautiful.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, sir. Good night.
Mwah. Next, we're gonna
I'll
take
go next.
down.
I'll say thank you for having me on the live. It was nice to hear different perspectives from different countries and different age groups. And I would say, if you're going just for a relationship, just ask maybe your blunt friends, like that'll tell you the real hardcore truth. And definitely go to a therapist or dating coach. And if you have low self esteem with yourself, definitely just find solutions how to work on it instead of bashing your own. And just before you say stuff, try and think before you post it on social media as well, because at the end of the day, everyone sees the collective image of others.
I love that. You are like such a breath of fresh air, and congratulations to you. Let me go ahead and give you your flowers. I'm so proud of you for your channel. Your channel has grown way faster than I imagined. I know last year we kind of talked about it a little bit, but recently I'm just looking at your channel and I'm like, oh my God, girl, you are doing it. I am insanely proud of you. Keep it up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mwah. African, not Dominican.
Well, it was fun. I enjoyed it. We definitely need to do this often, as Rico said. And we need to have him come back as well, because that was fun having him on.
Which one?
Rico.
Oh my God. Yeah, duh. Absolutely.
He has to come back. Yeah, I love having him in our conversation. But yeah, thanks for having me. I will definitely be back. My advice for the world is just like you wouldn't put all your money into winning the lottery in the United States. Don't come here thinking you're going to be that one in a million person that gets that unicorn like Colleen did. It's just, I mean, if you want to take the chance, be smart about it. But I just wouldn't recommend it. Put very limited resources and very limited time into finding love here, because like I said before, the odds are just not on your side. I know I come off as negative, but I'm trying to be realistic. Just like I wouldn't tell anyone to, like I said, invest all your money into the winning lottery ticket. Don't invest all of your time, resources, energy into finding the perfect Dominican. It's just not going to be worth your time.
I don't think you come off as negative, and I think those that
No.
maybe see you that way, they're the ones who don't want to know the truth.
And those are the ones that's gonna learn the hard way.
They're gonna learn the hard way. They're gonna be like, no, because Dominicans aren't that way. That's not true. They're not all that way. And we're not saying that all of anyone is anyway. What we're saying is that the majority, and this has been proven time and time again, this is nothing new.
I mean, they keep proving us right. That's all I would say.
Exactly. Like, stop it. Just cut it out. So, guys, unfortunately, we now have more viewers than we started with, as you can see. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's okay. The next time, we'll make sure that we get our word out more, and we'll have this number of views or viewers checking in from the beginning. But yeah, no, thank you for being so candid with us. African, not Dominican. We appreciate that. And oh my God, I love your commentary, because they're not going to tell it like you tell it. Like you and Carmen Sandiego, both of you guys are very much the female version of Rico. And that's exactly what we need. All right. Now, oh my God, you guys, the freaking viewers are doubling now. They're coming in droves. Jesus, man.
Tell them to go back and watch the playback, because it was a good show.
It was a good, no worries. What I'm gonna do my little shorts. And look, we got our boy. What is it? Tight of CPT tapping in from Los Angeles. You've been our boy from day one. We know you from seeing us on Dominican Route channel. So love you for coming today. Thank you so much. You got to tune in earlier the next go round. I'll make sure that you get the link. Tap in with us. We had a crazy awesome conversation today. Super proud of my my panel. So again, African, not Dominican. Oops.
We understand.
That's so funny. African, not Dominican. Thank you for showing up and doing exactly what I knew you would do. We need all of that. Sending love to you. Mwah!
Bye.
Bye. Brother.
Nikki, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was good. I should have got on. Well, I didn't know, but I wish I was on earlier from the beginning.
Oh,
I caught the tail.
We got you next time. No worries. I'm gonna go ahead and pay the fee or the monthly thing so that I can get everybody on, because all of you guys' opinions were just like equally as important, and more so, you're married to a Dominican woman, we need all of that. We need, yeah.
All our truths, everybody has their own individual truths. So yeah, you need multiple people with different perspectives.
Absolutely. What are your last words before I put you down or take you down?
I enjoyed the show. It was very entertaining, and we need to, me and you, come up with some solutions, some conclusions to what we're going through. Like I said, some of those classes, but we'll talk about that. And look forward to the next one. Let me know when the next one is. You said a month. Rico said you might need to do it every 2 weeks because it's a lot of material. And we're going to be learning them daily and weekly.
You know what? Here's the thing. Now that I'm looking at the grand scheme of things, I definitely feel like it does need to be a 2-week conversation, because there's so much information that needs to be put out there,
And there's so many people that are going through what we're going through.
Absolutely. Listen, one thing I do know today definitely felt like therapy for me, because nobody understands what it is to be married to a Dominican like someone else who's married to a freaking Dominican.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for the weak, and it's not for everyone.
No.
Oh my gosh, you said it, man. Yeah, so definitely gonna have you back on the panel when we come back, and I'm gonna converse with the ladies and see if we can do it again in 2 weeks. I think we can definitely make it happen. We had a great turnout today. I know that in 2 weeks it'll be even bigger, because I'm going to do more marketing for it and do all the things that we need to do. You look great today, by the way.
I appreciate it. And I will share everything that I can share on my pages.
Perfect.
After I know. Talk to you again soon. Well, call me whenever you can.
I'm sure we'll talk right after this. I'll give you a call.
Goodbye, America.
Goodbye. Good night. All right, guys. So tonight has been very interesting. Super happy that everyone came together. We had a very informative conversation. We had a lot of sides, mostly American sides. We did have a couple of people that are from the Caribbean who spoke about their views, which was awesome, because we need all of that, right? Going forward in our next conversation, we are going to allow for more people to join in and hop on the call, because I think that definitely spices it up. I am sad to see now that there's way more people viewing than there were when all of us were together. But I'm not going to throw y'all under the bus. We'll just let it be what it's going to be. If anybody who's watching this now wants to hop in on the next topic that we're doing, please email me. Let me go ahead and put my email address here. I'll just give you the other one that I normally use. It's not my business one, but I'll just give you my personal private one. You guys can email me at this address with your email address, and I will shoot you the link to hop in on the call and share your personal opinions. I'm going to answer this question of, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Is it tight of CPT? I do. I live here with my husband. Yes, I do. Yeah. So guys, again, we're going to meet again. We're going to try to do it in 2 weeks. Hopefully all the ladies can hop on so that we can do it again, because we have like 4 topics on the list that we didn't even discuss. Tight. Awesome. Perfect. I said it correctly. And then we have Mel. Thank you, girl. I'm so happy that you're here to watch this. Oh, I love you so much. Yeah, so we're going to do it again. Gonna go ahead and hop on the group chat right now and see if we can do it again in 2 weeks. And perhaps we'll try to do it every 2 weeks. I think that will be amazing. You know, a lot of you guys do know me from the Dominican Route channel. I know that we have not done a live, and I don't even know how long on that channel. And I feel like a lot of you guys, a couple of you came over from knowing me on that channel that probably wanted to hear more of my opinion. So thank you for coming back. Thank you for sourcing me out. I'm excited to give you guys like all the things, and just know that it's going to get a little sticky. All right. We're going to keep it all the way real, because we don't give, how do they say, an F. I'll leave it like that. We don't care. We're going to keep it honest, because who the F going to check us, boo? Who going to check us? Who? Nobody. They're not. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. There's no more questions coming in or anything like that. Thank you for the support. We love you so much. By the way, I just publicized a new book with my sister on Amazon called How to Do Life Better in 90 Days. I would love for you to purchase it. It's amazing. And Trust Your Dopeness is still on Amazon. So I would love for you to purchase that as well. I'll put it here. Trust Your Dopeness. It's a self-help book of comedic quotes by me. And the way that it shows up is Tia Nicole Dorset on Amazon. So I'll put that here. There it is. Of the 7 of you that are here, who's still here? Can you type in the chat, I'm still here, so that I can like know who's invested? That makes me very happy, because I can't see who's still here. I know you guys are like, what is she gonna say now? Because the stream is over. Okay. All right. My last parting words. I've said this before. I like that. I'm still here, present. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. One of the quotes that I wrote in my book, Trust Your Dopeness, which is a self-help book of comedic quotes. Don't ever allow anyone's opinion of you to change your opinion of you. Okay? You got this. You're dope. You're amazing. You've always been dope. You've always been amazing. You just forgot. So here's your subtle or big reminder. Okay? Bye, guys. Mwah.